I don't see us, Joe. Where we at? We live, but I don't see it. Where we at?
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening, brothers? I'm trying to find us where we can share this. I'm not able to share it. I'm not seeing it on your page or the Tipping Points page.
Really?
Yeah, where we at?
Oh man, we're gonna have to grab it from YouTube and share it then because
I got it on your page right now.
Huh?
It is on my page.
I got it on Joe's page.
All right, let me go to Joe's page. I was just there. Let me check.
I just shared it on mine.
Joe, I'm back on your page. I don't see it. You got it on yours, Pierre?
Yeah, I just shared it.
Yeah, I see it on the Tipping Point page.
Gotcha. I see it on yours, Pierre. Let me share this.
Yes, right. Sir. Yes, sir. It's another day, folks.
Let me see where my at, y'all. Boom, there we go.
All right.
Let me share some of this out here. Get people in on this topic here, baby.
I know John got some.
It's a good one.
Some wisdom for us. I'm through with the wisdom.
Oh man, is Wakanda forever the goal or a distractive illusion? Huh? Wakanda forever.
Yo, I actually saw the movie, man. I had a chance to check it out Thursday, man. There was a fire that broke out at the movie theater, so they had to stop the showing. My wife decided that we're gonna stay. I didn't get out the theater till after 3:00 in the morning, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all stayed through the fire?
It wasn't a real fire, but we had to wait till the fire department had cleared it out and everything.
I was gonna say, you could, if you want, you could make a whole rap about it and call it "Through the Fire," and then become a billionaire, get a contract with Adidas, and talk crazy.
Exactly.
Hey, well, look, we got a great show for y'all today. Peace, family. It's yours truly, Mr. Just Ask Joe. We got Brother John Yah and Pierre the Godson with us. Family, y'all ready to get this show started?
Let's go.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yah. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right. Hey, we're gonna jump in here, but real quick, brothers, how was y'all's week?
Mine was awesome, man. Always working, always busy.
Oh yeah, same here, man. Work, busy, covering the markets, and then also running from fires at movie theaters just to check out Wakanda forever.
Hey, listen, check this out. I want to offer anyone that is watching this show, see this 16-jar spice rack right here, right? All your spices in it, right? Brand new, box unopened. I'm going to give this to anyone that drops the tag. And first of all, share this post as PR is getting ready to tell you. But I want as many people that can tag other people in this link, the most. I'm going to ship it to you wherever you are in the country. I'm going to ship this to you. Free.
Can't beat free.
Can't beat it.
When you say tag,
so the one that tags in the most people in this show, at the end of the show, we're going to announce who it is, and I'm going to you inbox me your address, and I'm going to ship this to you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, Pierre, tell them how to do that.
Hey, this is how you do that. You got to get real aggressive. You got to get real violent on your mobile device or your CPU. And what I need for you to do is hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show and like that button, hit the like button, drop a thumbs up in the comments. We're trying to get this information out here to the public so you guys can, get all the value, but we are working against the algorithms on the internet. So in order for us to get the algorithms to work in our favor, I need for you to pound that like button and share this video with all your friends. Thank you.
All right. MORNINGSHOW, baby. The Tipping Point Morning Show. folks, you got to hashtag that as you see it here. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So hashtag the 10 Point Morning Show. The person that does it the most, shares it, likes it, and all that stuff the most, you're going to get that spice rack. I actually have one of those myself here at the house, and I be refilling all the bottles all the time with new spices because I'm always
what you cooking up, Joe? What spices. You cooking up, Joe? What
hey,
you
man,
up,
you know,
man?
I'm a chef extraordinaire,
spices,
brother, and you know, I believe in herbal medicine. So even in using all the spices and herbs while I'm cooking, and then at the end, I'm still putting more on there. I'm still cutting fresh spices, all that stuff, man. So y'all gonna love that spice rack. And I tell y'all what, next up to the stage, we go. Oh, you know, I gotta tell y'all something. Hold up. Listen, I don't want to hear anybody's excuses about being able to juice. Okay, y'all. I told y'all before, $10 a piece. I bought a Breville juicer, and then I bought a Juice Man juicer. Right, and I think I'm gonna start buying multiple more of these to give them away on the show, just as John is doing with that spice rack. I be getting them from the Goodwill, bro. From the Goodwill. I just recently went and bought another juicer. I think it is another Breville, but yo, this joint is dope. I've juiced for the first time this morning in it after washing it, cleaning it up. And bro, I had so much fun. I was in the kitchen singing and yelling and like just excited because of how dope this juice was coming out, man. So I'm gonna tell y'all, you got to do it, and it's easy to do. So first up to the stage, we got brother Crypto Kenny. This guy right here is nothing less than amazing. We love him, brother. Welcome to the stage. Hey.
Good morning,
What's going on,
Good morning, and queens that are viewing in. Good morning to all. Happy Saturday morning.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
Yeah, so I'll jump right into it.
Crypto wrap up.
Yeah, I'll jump right into it. There's a lot happening in the crypto space. We've seen about, I think it was 200 billion come out of the market within the last week. Bitcoin dropped from 20,000 all the way down to, I believe, even 16,000 and change. A lot of things are happening within the space right now. We've had the company, the exchange FTX, file for bankruptcy. The billionaire owner Sam has put a lot of people in bad situations when it comes to investments and false promises. And I wanted to address that because, as the market looks at crypto, some of the times you'll take this type of media in the news and you'll say that it's not for you, or you think that it's not going to work. But what I realized about society, especially American society, is whenever you feel like, there's something in a specific industry that shouldn't be paid attention to, that's really where the focus should be. When it comes to making money in society, we have our history has shown us that manipulation happens so that people look the other way. They purposely do things so that the average person looks the other way. If you look at sports betting, majority of the games that end up covering are the games that look so ridiculous that majority of the people psychologically will just jump on that. Like, if the Chiefs play the Browns and the Chiefs are, getting 8 points, people will look at that like, oh, there's, the Chiefs are definitely going to cover those 8 points. And psychologically, they're going to jump all over that game. And then all of a sudden, that's where Vegas makes their money, because they have things called referees that could kind of manipulate the scores, right? So if you understand that in sports, you have to take the same parallel and put that towards crypto. And with all of the negative news happening with crypto, with the scams, the rug pulls, the government manipulation and just how everything has been going, I think about these things all the time, especially, running a resource center and mentoring, a lot of people in the space. And my thoughts on this is really that it has to work, because whenever these types of issues happen, that's when things are happening behind the scenes that we don't necessarily know about. And I'll also equate that to the profession of being a police officer. Now, if you look at the actual profession, being a police officer is extremely noble. You know, it's the type of career that you can, you know, have a lot of pride in. You know, a lot of people can look at you and say, wow, you're changing the way society is. You're protecting people. You're making the world a better and safer place. But what has happened with that industry? There have been people within that industry that have taken that power and taken the job description and internalized that and manipulated that. And now the entire industry has a stigma against it, especially for people of color. We already know that, you know, when we look at police officers, we don't really think that they're protecting us. I give that parallel specifically because that's the same thing that's happening with crypto. The industry itself is just is not regulated right now. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to take advantage of others. With the situation with FTX, I don't necessarily think that the exchange itself was a credible source for people to invest in. You know, when you're looking at some of the things that they were doing behind the scenes, some of the relationships they had, some of the business opportunities that they were negotiating, you're looking at a company that was doing a lot of falsifying with records, and to the point where it just crashed and it couldn't handle it anymore. So when you look at those types of things, I wanted to just share with people, whenever you're dealing with crypto, and we speak about this, we've been speaking about this for months now, you have to be very smart with your money. They have a saying in crypto: if it's not your keys, it's not your cheese. So if you're putting your money on an exchange, whether it could be Coinbase, it could be something extremely popular, Coinbase, Voyager, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're not in possession of that, and so are you guys with me?
Yeah.
I think the internet kind of like shifted. So one of the things that you want to do in life, right? And this is not just crypto advice. This is just life advice. The best things you can do in life, the people that become wealthy, the people that become, you know, financially free, what do they do the best? They maximize their discretionary funds and their discretionary time. Those two things, time and money. If you want to become wealthy, if you want to get ahead of the curve, you have to be very smart with what you do with your extra money and with your extra time. And society is here to rob you of those things. If you look at marketing, commercials, you know, situations, society is there to rob you of your extra time, you know, extra money. Everybody's pulling you into a different direction. So those that control those things, that have complete control over how to, you know, take an extra $10 and invest it so that $10 will one day be $20. If you have that philosophy, that's when you're going to get ahead of the game. Until then, you're playing a manipulated game that you're not really aware of. So everything that's happening in crypto, I would encourage everybody to be even more aggressive towards it, because what goes down will go up. You know, I think yesterday was the anniversary of where crypto hit its highest mark ever, about 70,000 per one Bitcoin. And right now we're in a position where it's 16 grand. Will it get back to 70,000 to 100,000? Absolutely. Absolutely. Make no question about it. It will. The question is when, right? So everybody plays this game of when it's going to happen. And that's how people kind of analyze the bear market versus the bull market. But one of the things that I would recommend everybody to do is something that I do as well, is whenever I make any money in crypto, I take that money out of the exchange. Either I pay somebody, you know, I do a lot of circulating of funds within my group and with my business partners, so on and so forth. So if I have something in Bitcoin, I'm usually using that to exchange to another currency, to invest into something, or I'm paying somebody with it. I do not leave a lot of money on any exchange. It's not the smart thing to do. If I want to hold on to certain coins, I'll put them on a ledger wallet and take them off the grid and just have them and just put them aside.
You are bringing it, brother. You bringing it. And we appreciate it, man. Until next week, folks, that has been the 5-minute crypto wrap up with Brother Crypto Kenny. Peace, guys.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, brother. I'll see you guys at the top.
All right. Yeah, if you guys agree with Crypto Kenny out there, just comment in the chat if you agree or disagree with his message. We'd like to hear from you guys. Make sure you guys like, share, and comment in the feed if you're on YouTube, Facebook. Let us know where you guys are coming from. Joe, take us out.
Absolutely. So, I tell you what, folks, it is time next up for our next brother from another mother. This is 5 minute stock spotlight with none other than, let's see, folks, y'all know him. It's brother Leonard Walker. Right here. Check him out. Here he comes to the show. Brother, how you doing? I had to play something cool and smooth for you, family.
He extra jazzy, you know what I'm saying? That fits him.
Yeah, this fits him right there. Look at him, just so cool, brother. Hey, I just want you to know, we don't say this stuff just to be joking or playing, brother. We really love you, and we really feel like you're just one of the coolest brothers ever. Can't wait to get to actually meet you in person, chill, and have a good time, man.
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. Been a busy week for me. As you guys know, I'm a veteran, so I celebrated Veterans Day on Friday.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Still celebrating Veterans Weekend. Thursday was my birthday, so I turned 55 on Thursday, 55 years young.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
There we go.
Big numbers, man.
Hey, like I said, we trying to do 55 more.
So you got the beard to show it. I envy you. I can't seem to grow a beard yet. You know, I'm not old enough yet. I'm gonna catch up though. One day.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, because it becomes.
Don't worry, Pierre. When you turn 15, Pierre, don't worry, it's gonna start growing.
There you go. But anyway, to jump into it, so like I said, is how y'all stocks looking? How your portfolios looking this week out there? For me, I know that it's been looking a little bit better than it has.
Yes.
Looked like some things that made some gains. Looked like some.
I had one question for you, and
yes.
I want to throw this at you so you can answer it while you're doing your thing. But Lady Brazilianaire, who is unable to be with us today, she asked, "Should we buy more Nike, considering the situation with Kyrie Irving?"
Well, let's look at Nike right quick. This is it depends on your strategy. For me, I buy stocks based upon how much they're going to pay me to hold the stock. Okay, plain and simple. Like I said, is if you're not paying me a dividend, right? I don't care how sexy, I don't care, whatever, because that's the stage I'm in life, right? So, I'd have to look at Nike, all right, to see. But making business decisions, okay, should never be emotional.
There you go.
Making business decisions should never be emotional. You should always look at it. What's going to be right for me? What's going to be good for me? What's going to work for my financial strategy? Okay, for what I'm trying to do. All right, just looking. Like I said, I don't pay attention to Nike or Adidas or any of these guys because they don't. I look at what their dividend is, how much the stock actually costs based upon what they pay me to hold them. And a lot of these, it's not worth it to me, to buy these stocks when there are other things out there that are way less. My strategy is always try to find something for $50 or less. All right, the lower that number can be, the higher the dividend yield, the better it is for me and for a lot of younger people as well. Which that's what I want to kind of jump into is in dividend investing, there are two types of dividend investments. There are dividend investments for growth, and then there's dividend investments for income. Okay, the dividend investment for growth is ones where you see where you invest in dividend aristocrats. All right, that have a 20-year, 25-year slow growth record of paying dividends plus showing growth, maybe slow and steady. The dividend yield, typically the stock price itself, grows as well. All right. But, you have a lot of growth there. It may, you might see it low at one point and then it jumps up. But what the biggest thing that you notice about these is the dividend yield is pretty low, right? It's roughly around 2-3%. Okay. It takes a lot longer. You have to have a more invested in that. It takes maybe 20 years or so. And then your return may be a little bit less. Okay. Dividend income, all right, investing is where you invest in stocks that are paying you 9-10%, okay, dividend yield. All right. The stock itself, you may not see a lot of growth there. It may stay kind of level. It may be around $40, $45. You see it all the time, $40, $45. If you look at the dividend itself, how much it pays. It's a steady, it may pay, if it's a monthly dividend, it may pay, 20 cents a month. And it's been that way for years, right? See, so these, but the difference is with this one is it takes less money because the dividend yield is higher, and you can fold those dividend returns back into, you can take those returns and fold them back into buying more dividends, right? You will gain cash flow a lot quicker, all right, with a lot less money. Okay, so say for instance, you've got a stock, right, where it's like 2 or 3%. It may take you, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, all right, before you actually, in 20 years or 30 years, before you actually start to see some significant income, right? Whereas in dividends for income, you may, invest up to $40,000, $50,000 and then be able to see the same type of return on your investment. So is it, that's still a lot of money. That's tens of thousands of dollars. But remember in the beginning, we talked about saving, okay? If you can save, you can invest. And it's always good to know how to save first. So we know how to save. We can save $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Now, we're looking at being able to buy some stock. So right quick, what's doing good for you guys? For me, that golden ocean that we talked about earlier.
Yes, sir.
Golden ocean is a good one. I just went and bought some of that JEPQ, and right off the gate, it's gaining. Okay, that's a monthly stock. Then that's the Jefferson Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF. Right, I bought it for about $40. $40.75. It's already up to $43.43. All right, so that's already doing good. I'm gonna see my first payment here around December 1st. Okay, because I just bought it here recently. JEPI has been down. That's the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF. The stock price has been down, but it's paying me like 68 cents a share. Okay, so even though the price is down, it's still giving me a good dividend, right? See, so that's pretty good right there. IEP, all right, that's that Icon Enterprise. That one's done pretty good for me as well. That one pays me $2 a share per quarter. Okay, and back to JEPQ. That one's gonna pay like $2 and some change a quarter. All right, well, not $2 and some change a quarter. It's gonna pay about $60, $70 a month, or 70 cents a month, right? See, so because that's an $8 a year dividend. All right, now you guys, one of my best performing stocks is that I got a long time ago. I got into oil. People, right now is not the time to get into oil, but the good thing about it is oil goes up and oil comes down. When you see that oil come down, buy some more oil. Buy some more oil. I got this one stock called XLE, and that's the energy sector, the energy select sector, Spider ETF, right? Spider is the spot. So I bought it initially for about $37 a share. It's up to $93 a share, and it pays. Yes, it pays, 60, 70 cents. All right. It pays a quarterly dividend, pays 60, 70 cents per share. That's one of my best performing ones.
Hey,
so,
Brother Leonard,
yep.
I tell you what, man, we can't even give them too much. We can't even give them too much. We gotta siphon this stuff out to them, man. So I tell you what, next week, man, hey, some of this stuff that you're talking about has been doing so fantastic, brother. We gotta siphon some of it out and save it for next week as well.
Right.
Hey, brother, we appreciate you. That has been Brother Leonard Walker with the Stock Spotlight.
Peace, brother. I want to answer that. I want to answer that one question that Sister Heather asked about Nike. I own Nike. I've been having Nike for a minute now, and I would tell you this, just like what he said. Don't invest emotionally, because here's the thing. If you invest emotionally, it's like this, okay? So if everybody's screaming against Nike right now, that could make Nike stock go down. That's the purpose. That's the time to buy, right? Because we are emotional people. I want you to just understand that's how we move on emotion. And guess what? They move based on our emotions, right? Because that's how they push it to make the stock go down based on your emotion. They'll dangle something in front of your head, make you mad. You won't buy the product. And then all of a sudden you're buying the product again and they're back up. So I don't play the emotion. I've been having it. Jews ain't did nothing to me to make me want to sell my stocks. I was looking for anything that I wear. I try to, if I wear it, I done bought some stocks. I done bought me a few shares in it. Why? Because I'm a walking billboard. So you look at what you're wearing and what you like to wear, go buy some stocks in it. Don't be just a sucker and wearing something and you ain't making some money off of it. I'm looking for Reeboks. I'm thinking about jumping on some Reebok stocks. I can't find it, but I like Reeboks or Pearls, right? But I won't get it until I know I can get some stocks in it. So understand that. Don't invest emotionally based on what the masses of the people emotionally are going. Always go the opposite way of the masses of their emotions.
All right. And then also remember, if you're down with the protest, don't buy Nike shares, okay? So that's if you're down with the protest. All right. Everybody in the market has their own agendas. What's your agenda? You have to figure out what that is. If you're down with the protest, don't buy Nike. If you don't give a damn about it, go ahead and scoop you up some.
And that's the perfect time. That's the perfect time to buy it. If you don't give a damn.
Hey, well, I tell you what, folks. We're going to go ahead and jump into a commercial real quick. But when we come back, we got the beautiful queen, Angela Jackson Brown, who's going to bless us with some more information about an upcoming event right here locally in Louisville, Kentucky. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere, because remember, you got to, hey, show that spice rack again.
There you go.
Remember, what you got to do, Pierre, for that?
Share, like, and comment in the chat.
Y'all see that? Share, like, and comment. Hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. Share, like, and comment. Hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. Y'all should make that an affirmation right now. All right? We'll be right back right here on the Tipping Point Morning Show.
Hey folks, check out healthdaddywow.net. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, healthdaddywow.net. Remember, healthdaddywow.net.
I don't need to sit at your table. We building one. We in the process of building a table. We building a table. I don't gotta sit at your table. I'm building my own table, and I will build you a table in the presence of your enemies.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap, sticks, and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at sayababa.com. Again, that's sayababa.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeh. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right. Folks, coming up next to the stage, Brother John, y'all be right back with us. But coming next up to the stage is Angela Jackson Brown, Queen Mother, coming to bring us some great information about an amazing event here coming right up. Queen, how you doing?
Good morning.
You know, I am doing marvelous to be here today, breathing this free air, which is really not free, because you know we had to pay the ultimate price of coming through our divine ancestors, our mothers, our fathers, who gave us birth to be able to come today and create a new way, a divine way. So we at Give is all about connecting you to those multiple ways that connects us to our essence. We have our 4th annual Holiday Blitz celebration coming at you in the Ville, November the 25th and 26th, located at the beautiful, fabulous Creative Events venue, 2722 Critton Drive, from noon until 9 p.m. will be non-stop explosion of creativity, arts, culture, edutainment to elevate you, revitalize you with our green smoothies, our power smoothies, by the way, are from my mother's tropical ancestral land of Jamaica, including my sorrel that is highly desired.
Sorrel, may I hear that?
Yeah, man, my sorrel. The power of our medicine, fruits, vegetables that brings healing and wellness to every cell of our body. I will be preparing the sorrel with ginger as well as the hibiscus plant. Many of you all know, including grows in Africa, in the islands, even in America. But we will also be doing our power smoothies that will help build your body's immune system, which is just so important. I've had friends that have gotten really sick over the last couple of years. And when I ask them, what are you eating? What are you nourishing yourself with, your mind with, your body, your spirit? And they tell me that hardly any of the things they're eating is of life-giving substance that the Creator has created abundantly, that you can buy at the local market, you could grow in your garden even during the winter. By the way, it is snowing. I'm looking out my window. Even in the snow, you could do windowsill gardening if you're not in the tropics. But the bottom line is we have access. So there's no excuse. It's a lack of knowledge why the people perish. So I see. What you drinking there? What is that?
Oh, man, this is carrots. This is pineapple. This
right,
is
now.
kale. This is ginger. This is, you know what? When I cut off the asparagus, the ends of the asparagus, I still rinse them. I keep them and I juice those that I save from what I steam versus what I cut off. So I take that part and I juice that as well. So all of that asparagus gets used in my household.
So with that said, I really am requesting your presence by my side, Mr. Just Ask Joe.
Absolutely.
Mr. Just Ask Joe just took and told you some of my secrets that I want to share with you. See, he's from Yard too, so he know all about the ITAL vitality food that gives you energy, sustenance, as well as vitality. So yes, I need you right by my side while I'm preparing those powerful super juices, ITAL style.
Are you going to be using a Vitamix machine at all?
I have, of course, I always bring my Vitamix, as some of you all might know, over the decades.
Yes. I've seen you in action before.
I will be bringing out the Vitamix, as well as all the various herbs, plant-based fruits, even our spices. I'm going to put a little cinnamon, a little nutmeg. Yeah, I'm going to bring some anise. I'm going to show you the righteous way how to prepare these powerful super smoothies. Along with all of that going on, while you're at the Queen Diva Tea Party with our smoothie making, we will be having some phenomenal engagements with self-love, self-care counselors that will be our guest speakers, that will speak about how to go within and connect. And while we're doing that, we will be drinking organic tea, smoothies prepared by Moi, as well as Dr. Lacrease Kidd will be featuring some of her external ingredients that you could consume, but also apply to your body. With her body butters that she creates, she will be giving you a demonstration for moisturization, as well as elevation of your external organ. You know, your skin is the most powerful organ on your body that extracts, receives whatever you put in it. So we're going to teach you how to put good nourishment into your body.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to have a fabulous fashion show presentation. It is a presentation, by the way. Everybody knows I do a production, but this is a presentation of Shango Ranke, International Designs on the Move, revitalizing you, energizing you, and teaching you how to live in harmony with Mother Earth. Looking gorgeous, always.
Hey,
as
y'all.
Well as
you got to come out to this event. I'm definitely going to focus on making it. I used to work for Vitamix for 5 years as a sales demonstrator,
kidding.
So I definitely want to come and play, and I'll bring my Vitamix as well, and we can just have fun together. Absolutely.
Please, I love it. The yin and the yang, and that's what we're all about, balance. So I'm really going to hold you to that. So everybody witnessing this, Joe will be by my side making ITAL. Tropical smoothies. And we're going to have the kiddos in the play center.
All right.
With play cousins that will be sponsoring as my partner resources. As well as arts,
and you guys will hear more about this next week. Next Saturday, she'll be back on as well to tell us more about this event. Hey, sis Angela Jackson Brown, founder of Give. We will see you next Saturday, Queen.
Please go on Facebook. We have our new posters as well as our flyers that has the QR code that you can go and click on to get the workshops that we're presenting on Eventbrite, including signing up for the Queen Diva Party and our coats, hats, scarves drive. We need new coats, hats, scarves, and we need you to come up, show up at 2722 Quinton Drive. 25th kicks off Black Friday nationwide holiday season.
All right, Queen.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Next Saturday.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks. All right.
You have a...
All right. Thank you, Queen. Hey, I tell you what, y'all heard it here first, right here. You heard it here second, and you're gonna hear it here third next week as well, right here on the Tipping Point Morning Show about this amazing event. And I tell you what, I don't know what is happening with brother John. He was having some technical difficulties, and let me check real quick. Okay, so he'll be back on shortly, and we'll get right into it. We're gonna go to commercial break really quick, and we'll be right back. All right, peace, y'all. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. All right? Don't go nowhere.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap sticks and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at sayababa.com. Again, that's sayababa.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
Hey folks, check out healthdaddywownet. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, healthdaddywownet. Remember, healthdaddywownet.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yah. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right, folks. We have a dope conversation for you today, and the conversation today is all about Wakanda forever. Are we stuck on hope or immobilized in our own self-induced pain? Brother John Yah will be back on shortly, as he's having a couple technical difficulties. But nonetheless, I did want to mention real quick when it comes to the event on the 25th, Black Friday. Remember, there is going to be mental health workshops, forums, justice, liberty, and advocacy workshops and forums, entrepreneurial and financial literacy, generational wealth building workshops and forums. Folks, you can sit back and you can complain for 400 plus years all you want. You can do it for another 400 plus years. It's up to you. Or you can actually do something about it. It's up to you. All right? We have to make a change. You can't sit back. People, whenever we talk about change, people sit back and say, well, the reason why we got here, how we got here is that everybody knows how we got here. We know that. But guess what? It's up to us. I'm not sitting back waiting on nobody to make that change for us. You got to do it for yourself. We got to do it for ourselves. As a people, we got to start doing it for ourselves. We got to care enough about our future, the legacy, the children. We got to care enough to actually do something about it. This is an event that you can go to get some foundational bricks in order to build something a little bit better, in case you're of the I don't know crew, or even if you are of the know crew, you can come and be in support of this event to help and talk to people as you meet them at an event like this. So please, no more I don't know or I can't do it, because right here, right now, you have a supercomputer in the palm of your hand. All right. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So what you think, brother?
So coming to the main topic, Wakanda forever. Is this the goal or is it a distractive illusion? That's a good topic you came up with this week, Joe. Appreciate that. Hey, listen, as we get kicked off into this main topic, I'm going to need some participation from you guys, because guess what? I saw the movie. I saw the movie. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning because there was a fire that broke out at the movie theater. So we had to wait and then come back, and then we finished catching the movie, and that was on Thursday night. And I'm still, hungover from that. But all in all, I think I'm gonna get into the movies, but no spoilers. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers out here because I know you guys want to catch it. But as we get things kicked off, can y'all like, share, comment? I need y'all to abuse that like button, that thumbs up button. If you guys are with us, help us get that movement, help us get this thing moving out here. Yeah, you see what Joe's doing right there? Pound it right there, just pound it, like. Because
get violent.
The algos that see that activity, and they're gonna help push this into the masses, and we need to get this message out to the masses. All right. So share, like this thing to your friends, family, and we appreciate that. So, man, listen, Wakanda Forever. Just for me, man, I give the movie I'm gonna give it I will give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna go with a 9.5 out of 10. It's a real strong, review that I have on there. I'm gonna try to wait so that people can, get the movie in themselves and no spoilers and nothing like that. But all in all, I think the movie was really good. Actually, I think it was really well. There were some things that I just wasn't with, but most part, the movie was pretty phenomenal. Actually, I really like how they captured, African spiritualism in the movie. I think that's what a lot of people can resonate with, is that African spiritualism. Just ceremonies and things like that that they really embodied, and that translated across the screen in a way that Black people are going to resonate with very well. So I thought that was pretty cool. But the topic itself, Wakanda, like what is Wakanda? This is a fictional, city of Black people who are self-sustained, and they're unmolested by the other world. That means nobody can come into this place.
I like that.
Right?
They're unmolested by the rest of the world.
From
That's how I
the
like
colonizers.
my food. As a matter of fact, I like my food unmolested as well, and that's few and far between these days. But hey, Brother John Yah is back with this family.
Yeah, welcome back, John.
Go ahead, Pierre.
So yeah, Wakanda is this fictional place that we basically Black people are living in, heaven on earth type situation. It's really a socialist utopia, but I guess it makes good for imagination. But basically,
a socialist utopia.
It's a socialist
we
utopia.
We can't slide by some of those things that you throw out there. A socialist utopia, because we talked about socialism versus this monopoly board that we're on now.
Yeah,
so what
socialism
makes it such a socialist utopia?
Yeah, socialism is basically where the government owns the factors of production. That's like the simple definition, meaning that it's government owned. You guys can take a look in your communities. You see that anything that's government owned is just the worst of the worst. You live in ghettos, housing projects, and things like that. Nobody wants to really live there, right? That's government housing, right? You take a look at services like, going to the post office versus going to FedEx or UPS. Like, you're always going to get better service in the private sector versus government. And so anyway, when the government owns the factors of production, the government doesn't understand the markets, prices and things like that. So the government typically screws things up, and so sometimes they may give extreme blessings, but that is followed every single time by extreme poverty and destruction. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful when you ask the government to intervene in certain things, but not to really get into the socialist, debate there, because we can see that throughout history. But Wakanda itself, what socialists, if you know about Karl Marx or Engels, the socialist fathers, they're always promising a utopia, a heaven on earth, if you will. That hey, we can use science and technology to bring about no more pain and no more suffering on this earth. That humans, man, can actually stop all suffering. And I am of the belief that that's impossible. It would never happen. It can't happen. It's not the way this world was designed. There's going to be losses. There's going to be wins. There's going to be gains. There's going to be sufferings. All those things are natural. You know what I'm saying? I'm from a Christian background. Even Jesus Christ walked amongst men, and he did not stop, slavery or anything like that. He just left matters of the world where they were. He was more focused on the next life, the afterlife, the new heaven and the new earth to come, right? And so I don't think that this world can be a heaven on earth. There may be some people that disagree. If you do, please put in the chat. I would love to hear from you guys. Do you think that man can bring about heaven on earth? I'll tell you this, the Chinese, they still operate under this illusion. They have 5,000 years of their history tracked and documented, whereas, Black people, we don't really have our history. That's why you see Kyrie, out there trying to learn his history. I saw Farrakhan saw the Hebrews, the Negroes segment, and he had some comments about it as well. Like, hey, we're trying to figure out where we come from, right? And so we don't really have our history. But the Chinese, they got 5,000 years of history, and it's kind of like a cycle. It continues over and over again. And one of the things about their history is that it's always about a benevolent leader I have Chinese friends I debate with often, and I really enjoy my debates with them because they're really smart people, and they really bring the heat, and I like to get that heat when we're in debates. And so, but they had this cycle of, emperors, like the old term emperor means gods amongst men. That's what they title themselves. They're gods amongst men. Okay, so before America, right, and to the empirical age, where you have all these leaders who, you know, uh, position themselves as gods amongst men. And even in, Africa, all nations basically was ran by kings, queens, czars, emperors. They're all men, and everybody must serve those guys, and those guys are untouched by everybody else. Until America comes along, and now we have this free market, society where people are free to choose. You're free to choose your how you go about life. You don't have to be what your father was. You don't have to be a carpenter if because your dad was a carpenter. You were born into royalty. If you did not have that royal bloodline, it was impossible for you to become royal. Unless you're a woman who luckily married into royalty. But none of those things amounted to greater standards of living of the masses elevating. And the Chinese, they always have these tales of basically peace and prosperity, war, peace and prosperity, war. So they're always looking about a benevolent leader who could bring about this peace, prosperity, and then there's always some type of war that they really can't. I guess they blame outsiders for it, and then they find their way back. And so they're still going through this now. We see President Xi Jinping doing the same thing. As China's built up through capitalism, now they're trying to revert back to, or it appears that they're reverting back to Mao Zedong's type of socialism. So anyway, that's like the whole talks about like the socialist stuff. And Wakanda is like that type of place that's isolated from the rest of the world. So remember, it's a fictional place. Can Wakanda forever ever exist? No, it cannot. And if it did, like you probably wouldn't want to be there. It'd be a living hell, just because it's closed off from the world. And we live in a society where there are countries that can't grow their own food, right? So how do you get your food? You have to do trade with other countries. This worked on a tribal level as well. People thought they're like, oh, when tribes met each other, they just fought automatically. No, war was always the last resort. When you interacted with another tribe, you try to see, hey, what's mutually beneficial for both of us? What do you have that grows in your land, and what do I have that grows in my land? Right? If I have corn in my land and you got cotton in your land, maybe we can make an exchange, right? So tribes, when they met each other, it wasn't automatically hit them with the spear, drive by, hit them with the stick shooter. It was like, hey, what can we do to work things out? And if only if someone encumbered upon somebody's land, which that did happen, right? If your population outgrew your land and you need more food, you have to venture out and expand. And sometimes that resulted into war because you gotta, the
Man,
other tribes are not going
that
to share.
sounds like today's D-boy issue. I mean,
I like how you modernize that.
For real, gangs be encroaching on each other. You can't sell over here because this is my territory. You see this on TV in every day, right? But this is real life type stuff. So you're talking thousands of years of the same issue.
Yeah, same thing. But in today, we got Hollywood just building us this, fictional universe or this fictional world that make us feel good. So we go to the movie theaters and everybody feels good because they really captured again the African spiritualism came through really good. That did translate really good. And again, I'm not gonna spoil the movie for you guys. Check it out. It's good enough to definitely see. I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
But do y'all think that the feel good that we get stuck in that is that the illusion? John, is that the illusion? We get stuck in the feel good and don't make no moves ourselves?
That's a great question you asked. I guess I'm trying to, I'm not a movie goer, so I didn't watch the movie. I didn't watch the first one, and not going to watch the second one. The question becomes, when we say Wakanda, what is it, and where is it at? And so, how do we live it? In other words, Wakanda forever. Give me a concept of what that actually means, then we can talk about where the illusion's at. I'm not sure what the definition even means. So help me to understand the meaning of the definition.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining earlier. It's like a closed off, continent that's unmolested by colonizers, and black people run this thing, and they're free from, all kind of issues and ills of the world. But they're closed off, and they had a commodity called vibranium. It's a something that came from a meteor or something like that that's only exists in this Wakanda, and it's basically a mirror of Africa. Basically, everything is African, and they had this commodity that is the strongest, like one of the strongest elements. I think like Captain America's shield is made of this vibranium material, and so basically they have a monopoly on this commodity, and they don't want colonizers. The colonizers can't come, uninvited. And so basically, they live in this peace. They live in this peace, prosperity, kind of like the Chinese fairy tale type stuff about the benevolent leaders who have this ages of peace and prosperity. Yes, guess what, people? You can have peace if you cooperate and obey. So just because peace doesn't mean like good all the time, right? If somebody got their foot on your neck, you can either fight or you can, yield. Okay, and if you yield, yeah. I mean, but if you yield, then peace, continues because you gave up the fight or whatever, and now you must obey whatever their rules and things are. So peace. That's what the Chinese get caught up in. Like, oh, we had all this peace and blah blah blah. And prosperity for who? Prosperity for those that are ruling, the ruling class. And that's what I was saying earlier about that. Yeah.
All right. Let me ask: this power that is claimed in the movie, is it eventually shared with the world?
Well, without spoiling the film itself, basically Wakanda.
Well, look at the
Wakanda,
last film. The last film, right at the end, they were at the UN, and they announced Wakanda, and they said, "What can a country of farmers do for us?" And that's kind of where they left it. But they were looking to share their technology, and even at the before that part where they were at the basketball court and they exposed the spaceship that they had and all of that. So the premise at the last movie was, hey, we're going to start sharing instead of continuing to hide.
But they had to basically still report to the United Nations. They had to go to court, the United Nations, where the colonizers.
So now they got a boss.
They picking on, they still have to go to the United Nations. They got to answer to the United Nations and try to socially cooperate with the world governments. And so again, I'm not going to spoil the movie. You got to check it out yourself. But what I find interesting though, right? Hollywood, man, Hollywood. People got to understand. Let's just get to some facts here. We live in a man's world. James Brown said it best. All right. And that's just something that you got to deal with. Whether you like it or not, who cares? This is just the reality. We live in a man's world. There are no other ethnic groups that are run by women except for African Americans, Black people in America, where the women is the head of the household. That's problematic. Women were not built to go toe to toe with men. And so all of these films, we just had the Queen chicks or the African chicks movie with the one dark skin, the dark lady. We just had that movie to drop.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
Written by two white lesbians, I believe it was.
Yeah, whoever got that movie title, drop that in the queue. But that movie again showed, what did you see? You saw women, Black women, brolic. Always this brolicness about Black women. You never see white women casted in such a way, or any other women. No Indian women, no other women casted in this way, but Black women are so dominant right now in these movies, right? And it's real interest, masculine, real masculine. And I don't like those aspects of the depiction of Black women being so masculinated, you know what I mean? And so that translated also through in Wakanda Forever. You can see how like the men, the strongest guy, well, you don't lost your star character, but then the strongest male leaders are pretty much rendered useless and are weak. Whereas the Black women, the warriors, they're stronger than like the Black men. They're out here fighting men. You know what I'm saying? So, I find that very problematic because in the man's world, you got to have men to go toe to toe with men. At the end of the day, we need our women, our queens, our sisters to support us. But we as men have to fight the fight. But Hollywood keeps showing us our Black women fighting the fight. Man, you remember what was the other movie that the weirdo guy, Jordan Peele made? Not Get Out, but Us.
Yeah.
Us, right? And the symbolism in his movie was really interesting because if you guys remember, go back to that movie and watch it. It was weird, but one of the key elements about the movie that I noticed is that the Black man, he was big, but he was the first casualty. Okay, the father of the family got his knee knocked off. He was crawling and scrabbling around on the floor while the woman had to do everything with the kids. She got the kids on her. She's running everything, dragging his ass to safety. She's in the car handcuffed. So she's handcuffed to the car. She's driving. He's on the passenger side, just can't do nothing. He's been immobilized. And that's what I see comes through with these Hollywood movies a lot is, the over masculination of black women. And it just continues to further our demise because, again, I done told you, black women are not going to go toe to toe with white men, Asian men, or no men for that fact. They'll go work for them. They'll go get the money, as they probably should. But at the end of the day, if your men are not in position, you don't have a society that can compete. You have a society that will obey and a society that will work for the others, serve the others. All right. We have to have our men in power. So those are some of the things that we've been seeing consistently across the spectrum here, Brother John. Y'all, what are your comments on that?
It's very interesting. So, and I'm going to relate this to the movie, to the science of getting rich. And I'm going to relate it how I'm going to relate this to the movie. I'm going to drop 2 jewels about the science of getting rich, of how you should carry yourself and look at yourself in your endeavors and what you do in life. As an investor myself, as a business owner, I have people working with me. I never say working for me. I never use the word employee. Actually, there's a team of us, right? And so the 2 science of getting rich, one is always pay a person what they're worth. And how do I know what they're worth? I ask myself, would I do it for those hourly wage? And that's how I look at and so always pay a person what they are worth is one of the science of getting rich. If you extract money from someone, make sure that what you give them is triple or more of the value than what you sold it for. Okay? Always make sure. So you got 2 folds. When you have someone working for you, always give them what they're worth. If you're going to work for someone, give them more in value than the money you're receiving. The 2 ways, the 2 secrets of getting rich is to understand that too. So it's always, everything in universe is reciprocal. There's a give and take in the universe. If it's not, then it becomes detrimental. It hurts you if you don't receive the same thing you're giving out, or whoever doesn't receive the same is getting less of it. They are getting the short end of the stick. So if you're walking in this universe of give and take, in the science of gravity and everything that we're dealing with out here, there's always reciprocal and the energy is equal. It's always equal. So that's why I say, if you want more in life, give more. That makes sense. If I want more out of the people that are working with me, let me give them more and they will work more with me. If I'm working for someone and I'm getting the wage, let me give them more than the wage they're giving me. Guess what? That gives me more work. I learn more, and that helps me to serve in order to come off from up under service. I tell everyone, if you have a job, learn to serve to your utmost, and that's the way to come from up under service. Now, why am I using that to this thing that we call this movie? Because if I sell a book and I sell that book for $13 a book, right? You should get more out of the book that's going to help you in value to your life than the $13 you pay for it. That's how you look at life, right? So you look at everything that way. That which you put your attention in, are you getting more value back than you paid to put the attention in? That's the question you have to ask. And if you ask those questions and you move in that fashion, you are moving towards the understanding of science of getting rich. What is the science of getting rich, right? So here we are now talking about a movie. The question becomes, inside of that illusion, the reason why I can go on about why I don't watch movies, because of the subliminal messages that launches in the back of your head that you don't see, right? We're not trained to see. But here you watch a movie. The question is, for my people, you can spend 2 hours watching that movie, Tell me this, when you came out of it, did it assist you in helping you understand how to build wealth, how to get along with your family, how to get along with your people? Did it tell you how, did it teach you about the real value is in your head, not something outside yourself? Because if you look around you, everything comes from the thought world. Everything comes from a thought world, and somebody's using our thoughts and our energy to advance their wealth. Okay, so there's $1 billion was made off the movie last time that movie came out, and they only dangled in front of you pennies. Here's somebody white created the script, somebody black allowed to play in the script, right? And so it's a dangle, but they made $1 billion off of it. And I said this the last time that movie came out, that it was worth nothing. Actually, not even worth the money you paid to go see it, because sure enough, we're in the same condition. We're still in poverty. We still don't know how to get along with each other. We still don't know how to extract this wealth and get it into we still don't know how to create and produce something out of the brain to share it with humanity. So somehow we are in this state of illusion, always fear, always something up against, where we always got something up against our backs, right? If you always in the state of fear and stress, guess what that do? That creates a hormone inside of your brain that's released, that stops you from creating. Because the only way you can create, you have to be at peace and in love. Right? You have to have love for yourself, number one, and you have to be at peace in order to create your world inside yourself. So here's the dangling man, the movie man, very magically put his movie in. This is something that black people know we really don't get, how they take our power from us and use it against us to advance their wealth. Look at our music. Aren't we the authors of that music? But why didn't we get paid? Look at all technologies and the things. Didn't it not come from someone black brain? Did not we travel and play that basketball really good and we move because of our rhythm? Somebody's using our talent. Again, somebody's putting that in our head, and then someone benefits off of that, right? But we still don't get it, because why? We in the Wakanda world. We in this world of this illusion, so much point that we have a temporary feel good, like going to church. You go to church and you get that feel good from the preacher telling you that, but you go right back to your impoverished mindset. You see, this is the same thing they've been doing for us for thousands of years, but we don't get it because we in this state of illusion. They took a concept of the religion, a religious concept of the miraculous birth of something, and they took it off the walls of the pyramids of miraculous birth of Haru, that they called him Horus. When the Greeks got it, they called Horus, but the actual name was Haru, with his mother Isis, who was the god, like Mary the god, Mary God, right? Jesus birth, right? Miraculous, right? So they took a story, they whip it up, and they give it back to us, and this is how they control us. Ain't we not talking about our wealth inside the music business? How they took our shit, and we say, well, you took our shit. Look at white people, how they are playing music now. Who taught them how to dance? Who taught them how to sing? You see? So really, the real Wakanda is inside every black person's brain. That ability to see your ideal come into this reality, into this thought world. There is nothing more valuable on the planet than the human mind. Nothing is more valuable on this planet. And so somehow they whip it up to us. Just the same as Joe, you and I study this thing, what they did in Chicago and DC, this thing I passed around, how a group of people came to meditate for a couple of days inside the summer in the highest murder capital of a city, highest murder. And they sat there and meditated for, I believe, 30 days, and crime rate went down 30%. Even the mayor, I got the study for you, even the mayor himself said the only way the crime will go down like that is if there was a foot of snow on the ground. So what we're talking about, we're talking frequency and we're talking vibration. But who controls the frequency? BET. Who controls the dial? News, Viacom, you see, moviegoers. So here we were just talking about being pissed at some Jews because of their movie, and we flocked to give him our money. We flock and we fight. There was fights over that movie too. People were fighting to get in that movie. Who were they? They were us. You see, all about an illusion that at the end of the day, You ain't learned nothing about how to get along with your people. You ain't learned shit about how to build this wealth. You ain't learned nothing about how to use your brain. You know nothing about the connection between your gallbladder and your stomach, and your gallbladder and your organs and all your kidneys and how you flush out. We still don't know nothing about ourselves, while we still relying on the white man to give us a little dangling just to make us feel good. So the rest of this week, we will talk about Wakanda, which is just a state of an illusion, but we still deny the ability of the brain of how we can advance in life. We still under this real whoop illusion here. They still got us dangling. They're dangling something in front of our face. Yeah, black man, black power. But yet it doesn't translate to nothing for us in the bottom line. While those who are really wealthy, those are the ones who are the executive, who made the movie, those who are producing the movie. They're the ones going to make $1 billion off of it, while they only give us the crumbs. And we excited about it. But again, at the end of this, you will never get nothing out of it equal to what you watch. This is what I just started out about learning to get more out of that which you got. What the question is, if you spend $25 for a movie that you spend an hour for, did you get the value triple more than what you pay for your time and money then you watch it? And the answer is absolutely no. You know why I know it's no? Because no one's talking about how we can come together and pool our money together to create our own Wakanda. We off into that state of illusion. Clip your heels, Dorothy. Clip your heels, Dorothy. Wait for us, right? It's just an illusion.
So,
hello.
Hey.
So let me. Yeah, I want to.
Hey, Pierre. Can I read a couple comments first before you respond?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's read a couple comments here. Number one, I put up something about neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, because even as Pierre was talking, that's one of the things that came to mind. Neuro-linguistic programming is something that has been used in sales for many years, right? And when it comes to television programming, it is something that is so subliminal that is used all the time. And Tony Robbins talks about the top 5 NLP techniques. Imagery training, sometimes called mental rehearsal, is one of the classic neuro-linguistic programming techniques based on visualization. Okay, imagine all of these things that I read, these top 5 NLP techniques. Imagine how it's, if you really sit back and think about it, imagine how it's being played off in movies, commercials, radio program. Modeling is one of the NLP training techniques that has gained the most attention and is based on the law of attraction. Mirroring is also rule. Just 7% of your messages communicated through words. Your tone of voice contributes to 38%. Your body language communicates 55% of your message. So just imagine that 7-38-55 rule of mirroring, how that plays out in the movies. Tone of voice, voice inflection, their body language or something, and subliminally that hits us mentally, right? Incantations are more powerful versions of affirmations, which are one of the more mainstream neuro-linguistic programming techniques. An affirmation is a phrase you repeat to yourself about your beliefs and goals. Incantations can take it a step further, changing your physiology as well as your words to create a state of total confidence. So I feel like it's one thing to see something, but it's another thing to actually apply it. Kari Muhammad, he says, our people in the U.S. are infatuated with the idea of freedom and independence that the Black Panther movie portrays, not realizing this is a normal way of life for other people around the world. Minus the superpowers and fictional technology, we don't realize we could option all of this, but we stay in a dependent and fictional mentality. Right? So again, application is totally different. We could watch something. Hey, I know some preachers out there that teach about finances and other things but do the people go home and apply it? No. But even those teachers like that are few and far between. Let's see. Give Global Interventions in Education, Sister Angela Brown Jackson, that was just on. She says, Black Panther 2 is magnificent. Powerful and inspiring, there are many golden nuggets, including showing encouraging and uplifting us to strive to become self-sufficient, industrious, creating and involving us to be unified with working together in harmony and love. We must overcome fear, false evidence appearing real, and getting caught up in the Hollywood fantastical fanatic illusion of casting spells. Ooh, man, she's teaching right there, because we've talked about that. Very few movies created, especially today, offers any hope or inspiration in media that is designed. Absolutely. Let's see. Kika Grant says, word, he's speaking nothing but facts. Talk about John Ya. Pierre, what's on your brain, brother?
Yeah. I agree with most of what John was talking about. Some stuff I disagree, especially on religion. But I'll say this, man. When I was younger, I used to be more dogmatic in my approach, right? There's a video game called The Sims. I don't know if y'all ever heard of The Sims. It's a video game I think that still exists. But I used to play this game called The Sims, and The Sims is a game that's about life, and it's an interesting game. You have a character who's starting out in life, and you're trying to navigate him through life. You have to, basically direct him for everything in life, like whether it's love, relationships, friendships, food, eating, cleaning. You have to clean your house and all this other stuff. It's a really detailed game. But one of the things that's interesting is that in the game itself, you have all these different meters that you must, have a satisfactory level of in this person who's a representation of a human, in order for them to achieve and do things, right? You have to learn how to read so he can get better jobs. So you're learning. You have to read books. You have to also get enough sleep so he can perform well at work. So he goes to work. Also, he has to collect his mail from the mailbox. He has to pay his bills on time, or his lights get cut off. He gets evicted. I mean, it's a real life game. One of the interesting things about playing this game, though, is that when I take my guy to read, because I'm trying to get him, he starts off in life with like the minimum wage, but in order to get a better job, you have to educate himself. And I can educate him, and then he gets to a point where he has maxed out on his education, where he's no longer even like paying attention no more. He actually grows unsatisfied. And so to create a balance, like Angela was talking about earlier, to create a balance, he has to do other things in life. One of those things is, friendships, socialization with other people, developing friendships. So he has to develop friendships and relationships, love. He has to date people and stuff like that. He gets rejected, gets his feelings hurt, but he gets better, right? And as he talks better and get more educated, he gets better quality women, all right? This is the character in the game. But also entertainment. He has to have parties, so he can, have his spirit uplifted. And once he gets those things, those meters of those things in his life to satisfactory level, he then can perform better at job. He then can go back and learn more and stuff like that. So when I say I used to be dogmatic in my approach, I used to never watch TV and stuff like that. But just watching that video game, understand how humans work, it's one of those things where entertainment has always been a thing of humans since the beginning of time. Even in the tribes, they would do dances, and they always had dances. That's entertainment. They would do plays, right? You watch a lot of the old movies, you'll see them mocking the kings and stuff like that, doing plays. Entertainment's always been a part of human society, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with entertainment. I know the message here is to get the education, get the value, but are we machines? No, we're not. We're humans, and so you can make time for entertainment in your life. Now, what type of entertainment you're getting involved in, I think that you can, we as a people can be more selective with that. You don't have to be at a strip club to have fun. You don't have to be at nobody club to have fun. There's other ways to have fun in life and entertainment. But the movie itself, like what Sister Angela was saying, like the movie was pretty powerful. Besides the economics of the fact, the message that was getting out was pretty good. To see Black people showed in such a glory, which you normally don't see in films. That's been one of the issues that I've been, those who watch movies and entertainment, Black people are only drug dealers, sports players. That's all you get, nowadays. Drug dealers and sports players. 50 Cent, he's responsible for a lot of TV shows right now. All of his shows are glorifying the destruction of Black communities. That's why I don't watch those things. I'd rather watch the fantasy than watch that. That's actually real life. Like I can go to any hood right now and get a pack right now and hit the block if I needed to. You know what I'm saying? Or if I felt like I needed to. That's just too cliche for me. I don't like watching those films, and it glorifies, the gang culture and all this other stuff. Like that's just it's too negative, and it's destruction. So to have a movie, that's more positive, that is a positive for Black people, I think it's a good thing. So I'm not going to criticize it in that way, because again, out of your 8 hours a day that you're working, you're going to want to decompress as a human so that you can continue to do work and be more productive. Then entertainment, it's not a bad thing to go catch a Black Panther movie. I think we should have more movies that shows Black people in excellence, and not just excellence, but just showing that we can achieve this. That's that whole hope thing. Like without hope, you can destroy a whole nation if people don't have hope. So I guess I give a little pushback on that. That yeah, we do need some kind of hope.
Are we stuck in hope though? I mean, that's part of the question.
Well,
are we
you
stuck in hope as a people?
You have to. So you have to turn again. We're talking about metaphysics now, right? Hopes, dreams, right? In the Bible, a lot of things are revealed to people in dreams. Dreams are metaphysical, right? And so that's just things, ideas. I believe they're divine. I think they come from God. You can believe whatever you want, but I believe they come from God. And ideas come from God. What are your ideas? These are not physical things. These are metaphysical things in your head. But that's where everything starts. It's the genesis of all those things. You have an idea. Any business I started in the past, I dreamt about it. I realized it in my imagination. I saw it. You see what I'm saying? Like I saw it. I saw the impact it would have on people before I took action to bring it into fruition. Before I started to deal with the physical, it was here in the brain. So to plant a positive seed, there's nothing wrong with that. You actually need more positive seeds. Think about it. That's the alternative in life. Making decisions is all about alternatives, right? So if you're not going to be in the classroom for 24/7, 24 hours out of a day, what else are you doing with your time? You need time to relax. You need time to have fun and do other things in life, right? So we're not all in the schoolhouse educating all the time. Everything that we do doesn't have to be education, right? And you see that the richest people in the world, they're not freaking robots. These people enjoy life, right? And they make their money too. So we can't have that as a premise is that, oh, all we have to do is
but
learn.
But didn't those people already focus on doing the hard work to get to where they are? So now they can afford the ability to, entertain themselves a little bit more. And I don't mean financially. I just mean, they put in the hard work. So, okay.
No.
All right.
Well, okay. I'll give you this. Some people, right? Look at Warren Buffett, for instance. I don't know if you guys watched the Warren Buffett documentary. It's a really good one. You should watch it. Warren Buffett, he's a master of the interest rate, right? You're talking about, interest rate king. That's him. Like, that's where he maximizes the dividends, the yield. And the movie is interesting because he has a wife and he loses his wife, right? I mean, his wife actually went to Cali and was messing with black dudes. It's interesting. Warren Buffett, a black dude was knocking off Warren Buffett's wife. He was so, possessed with this money that he paid no attention to his wife. He wasn't the romantic of a guy. He provided her with money. That was it. But he had no way of communicating with her, connecting with her in any kind of way. So she felt that connection elsewhere. She left him, actually. And he loved her. Like, he never married another woman until she died. The next woman he married was her best friend because she told her best friend to take care of him when she left. She moved out to Cali, and he used to pay for. She actually funded a lot of black things, right? She's really like about the black stuff, and she was messing with a black dude. So, a lot of millions of dollars she got from Warren Buffett even after she left him. Like, he took care of her, but he was so focused on money. This dude had no connection with his wife. He lost his whole wife. I mean, like, this guy's just possessed with money. You know what I mean? There's more to life than money. And that's something that in my own journey that I realized, like, I'd like to travel, see the world, take my family out and do other things besides money. I work in the capital markets. I'm dealing with, investment bankers and stuff all day, but I'm a human being at the end of the day. I want to have some laughs. I want to drink some scotch and, hit the movies or, just, be in the company of other people.
What I was saying more so, Pierre, was not about accumulated the wealth and now they can entertain themselves. I'm talking about they've afforded the ability to entertain themselves because they've gotten past the mental breakdown of I can't, and they are in the space of I can, and they have the track record to prove it, right? Yeah. So they've created that. Whether I'm not talking about dollars, but you're talking about a people that are so easily swayed because our lives have all been focused around being led by the Pied Piper in some way, shape, or form. Right. So mentally, we seem to be very easily swayed. So the question is, can we afford to go and entertain ourselves in such a manner?
Of course, we're humans. We're not machines. You got to understand we're humans. That's why I was telling you about the video game The Sims. Is teach you how to be a human. That you have to eat. Right. Remember, I talk about human action every
That's
week. Right.
teaching people
Hold on.
how to stay online and have a fake person online and jump into the metaverse. That's what that's teaching people.
Like as a human being, humans, we're not all motivated by things of this world. You have some people that live in isolation. You have, people that live in caves and mountains and they say in prayer 24/7. Would that make you feel fulfilled in life? They sustain from anything in life. They eat the holiest meals and they don't interact with people. They live in a cave 24/7. You have these people that the Coptic Christians in Egypt. This is how they live. Is that a life fulfilling to you? In a free world, you can choose to do as you please, right? You want to go and create your business. You want to play video games for a living. You want to start a YouTube channel and make money off of that. Like you have that freedom to do so, whatever is going to, fulfill you in life. And so there's so many ways to wealth. There's more than one way to skin a cat. It's not just one way. The smartest people I know are not the richest people I know. I promise you, Donald Trump, he's rich and he ain't the brightest tool in the bag. You feel me? There are lots of rich people who, again, they're getting wealth. It's a combination of a lot of things.
We keep ending up at money and dollars. I'm talking more mental wealth than anything else. I feel like we as a people need to gain that mental wealth so that we can apply it into our own lives, so that each one teach one. If this person's dope, then the people around them about to be dope. Then the people around them about to be dope. And when I say dope, I'm talking that they got their shit together so that we are not so easily swayed mentally by the programming that is out here.
But you got to understand, we live in a system, a capitalist system, right? So because you live in a capitalist system, it's individuals before the collective, right? So individuals pursuing our own, pursuit of happiness, right? And again, certain things in the movie, right? Wakanda monopolizes a commodity. What commodity do black people have today? Wakanda has vibranium. What commodities do black people have today? Right? I mean, there's lots of ways to look at commodities. Look at the children that we produce. What are we producing? I look at the Indians, right? And you talking about NLP, right? I have a data science certification. I've done, programming with Google TensorFlow, and I work with Indians in India, and we communicate each other and train. But I look at what they are producing. They're not smarter than you. I promise you, they're not smarter than you. I guarantee you, they're not smarter than you. But it's interesting to see their entire culture is focused on the same things. They actually are all trying to get out of their state of poverty. Our poverty here in America is actually too comfortable. Their poverty in those other countries is not the same, B. Like they don't have big screen TVs, J's on their feet, and a deep freezer full of food. We're too comfortable over here in our poverty. And that's the problem with the welfare system. The 1930s, we talk about FDR creating a welfare system. We talk about like ghettos. Think about ghettos, project housing and stuff like that. All of this was created in the 1930s. Right? The first project housing was Techwood Homes in Atlanta, Georgia, 1935. FDR, I told you, changed the whole landscape of America. But that's the type of stuff that keeps us hindered because we become dependent on government. Where other people, you look at the foreigners, they are not dependent on government. They do not want the government in their life at all. What black people need, in my personal opinion and my expertise, what I'm looking at is black people need more freedom. We don't need government involved in our life. We need to have more freedom. The more freedom, the more productive people can be. And what Wakanda had was a commodity. We have to think about what commodities, right? The commodities that we're producing are human athletes. Think about it. Our richest, our most successful ones are the basketball players, the football players, and this, that, and the third, right? So we're more into the entertainment space in itself. We got the rappers, the singers, the dancers. Entertainment is our hub. That's, what Kanye was saying, how the Jews control the place that we supposed to be, dominating in. But, we are just physically there performing the task while they actually run the strings. And so in order to change that paradigm, we actually had to go into ownership. So the key ingredient to a capitalist society is private property. And private property means ownership. Okay, so you have to have ownership, and we don't have ownership of things. Production. My family, I was fortunate that my mom married into a Liberian family, so I have African family. My grandfather, they have lots of land in Africa, and they have trees. And if you ain't never been to Africa, just imagine trees that grow rubber. They have rubber trees. We have rubber plantations in Africa. They take a stick and beat the bark of the tree to get the rubber to come out, the rubber to drip. The rubber is like liquid. It drips, and they put buckets to catch the rubber. And my grandfather was telling me how the Chinese are, trying to buy out the land that they have, because they want to make tires and stuff like that. And Africa is full of resources, right? And so, how is it that these other people can have the intelligence to own and control the natural resources, which are commodities in Africa, over the African people? See, this is the stuff I was asking you about last week, John, where, yeah, we have a lot of talks about how we're so strong and dominant physically. But the war is actually an intelligence war. It's a mental war. And so it appears to me that we are in a mental inferior stage, and we need to elevate our mentality, and our intelligence to compete at this intelligence war.
But how can
if you
we
want to
do
call it
that
a
if
war.
we're stuck in the ideology of an elusive world that we don't apply to the real world?
So,
You see what I'm
take a
saying?
look at this. So take a look at this. Every technology that you can see today, Hollywood put it on a screen. It was an imagination. All right. Space stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek, all these things came from an imagination. There were illusions. Those illusions are seeds planted into humans to put it into action. And remember, hope is a key ingredient for people to listen. If you're watching 50 Cent TV shows all day, and your kids are watching it all day, what kind of kid are you going to produce? He's watching BMF, he's watching Empire, he's watching all this drug dealing stuff that 50 Cent is out here producing. You're going to produce a drug dealer. Okay, that's what you're gonna do.
Potentially,
And
yes.
yeah, that's what you're gonna do. That's when
There's more
his
potential
values are
that
being
that's going to
shaped
happen
by
than
that.
not. Yeah.
Right? But if they do watch like a Wakanda kind of movie, you're gonna produce a better quality child than the child is watching drug dealing stuff, because it's all he sees. That's he's glorifying that. He's gonna end up dead in jail. Versus the kid that's saying, "Hey, I want to make this world a better place." No, you can't create a heaven on earth, but can you make it a better place? Yes, we can make it a better place, but we can't make it perfect. It wasn't intended to be perfect, but can we make it a better place? And I think Wakanda Forever comes off in such a way that it provides that seed that people can then take and then produce something from it.
So, Brother John, again, if y'all sit and y'all watch Brother John, then you'll see different body language that tells certain things, and it's very interesting as you get to know people over periods of time. But you got something on your brain, man, and I want to hear it. So could you bring that into this dimension, please?
Yeah, so a lot of times, what we do basically, and this is a very interesting, and I noticed it. I just have talked with my girl about this yesterday. On sometimes we jump over things because we didn't see something to go deep into, so it was like it was skipped over. So I'm speaking about cortisone. Cortisone is a stress hormone that is released into the brain that makes you get prepared for battle, or it makes you get prepared to defend yourself, right? See, we're always at odds. We're trying to find our history. We go get in discussions about whether you're black, whether you're Moor, whether you're this or whether you're that. We are talking about poverty issues, or whether the white man has got this, the 1% as we did, the 1 to 99%. All of these are signals, stress signals to the people who are listening. These are called stress signals. So you can look this up. Cortisone is a hormone that releases from the brain. Cortisol. It's a chemical that's released from the brain. The Jesuits said back in the 1500s, and I quote, "Give me a child until he's 7, and I'll show you the man." What is he talking about? He's talking about program. You see, a child from when it's in its third trimester till they're 7 years old is under a wave called the theta wave, a state called the theta wave. which is the form of hypnosis. Please Google it and look it up and just prove me wrong, right? And so during this stage of this 7 years is when most of your programming happens from birth to 7. Most of your life right now is based on theta wave programming. You don't know the programming. You don't see it because it's already you. And so when I speak, Joe, you and I, we did a show dealing with I am. And anything behind the I am is a program. I am is just who I am. But the mindset wants to know, who are you? So if you was to ask me, who am I? You want the program name. Program. You black, program. You Muslim, program. You Christian, program. You moral, program. No matter what it is behind the I am, there's a program. You don't get the program, nor would you concede to the controlling of the program through media. Y'all don't get that because you know why? How you know y'all didn't get it? You ran over it. You didn't get the fact, you're not getting the fact that you are being programmed, and all you following is a program, a dangling program that's not going to advance you as an individual, nor is it going to advance you as a people. All I heard was hope. Listen, your real Wakanda, your real value is not in a mineral. Your real value is your creativity, which is your imagination. You can imagine yourself in a better condition that you are in and watch the universe shape your life into that condition. Name me a mineral that can do that. You can't, because we're passing over, again, the real quality of you as a person, which is in the back of your brain. So they use television. Tell what? A vision. Whose vision you telling, right? You thinking Wakanda is a vision for us? They wouldn't put nothing on TV that would advance you as a people. You know why? You didn't see the subliminal messages. Those little things in the back of the scene you didn't pay attention to because you didn't see it. Your subconscious mind saw it. Go Google subliminal messages banded in the 50s, how they still doing it in movies today. Go Google what Walt Disney used to do with the cartoons, sex images inside the background drawing of the cartoon that they used to do back in the 50s. You don't know about subliminal messages. I'm sorry, y'all don't understand how this mind works. And so we continue with this same cycle because we're not understanding that we are their ticket. As long as we are distracted, we're not producing. And when we're not producing, guess what you are doing then? You are providing the production of someone else who's using your brain to produce something. This is why dangling. Pay attention to where somebody kills somebody black and watch the word so-and-so, another black man killed. Do you know these are money words? These are words to trigger your emotions to go do something and react. You react because you are emotional over this word black that you have attached your emotions to. And that right there is the dangling. We don't get that. So here I am talking about mindset. Here I am talking about that there is no such thing as poverty. It's only a poverty mindset that you have of how you see yourself. I can prove with anyone there is no such thing as poverty. And I can also prove there is no such thing as slavery. It's all a mindset. So the question is, where's your mind? Tell me, show me somebody that you see as successful, came out the hood. And then you ask yourself, why can't I do that? You will find the mindset. You will find that that person did something particular to get there out of that condition or to gain their freedom. Right? What we call freedom, movement, freedom of the speech, right? Freedom of the main thing is movement, freedom to have a passport, freedom to have a business ID, freedom to start a business, freedom to buy land, right? So we're talking mindset. We're always talking mindset here. The masses of the people are under a spell. You see, the masses of the people right now today are under a spell. They don't know they're under a spell. And this is what I'm trying to teach and talk about, is that your real gift is what your creator gave you inside of your imagination that can change the condition of your life yourself. The greatest thing you can do is learn how to create and access that ability of your own mind. If it is true, tell me it's not though. If it is true that I can use my mind to change my condition, the question is, why ain't we using it? Because we are under a spell, we don't know the ability of it. This is why I started out talking about when you're selling something or you're buying something. When you're selling something, always give them more than what they're paying for it. If you're buying something, if you're buying something, make sure you're going to get more out of it than what it costs you. This is the secrets of getting wealthy. What are you doing to create what's in your head? You're looking at a thought world. You are actually living in a thought world of consciousness. Oh, this is a hard one to get. The hardest thing to get is for people to understand that your conditions of your life is what you have put forth. You don't know that because you're still pointing fingers outward. You're still waiting for the Jesus, the MacD, or the Messiah to come save you when you are looking outward for your salvation, when you don't know that it's in you. It's already in you, baby. You can extract whatever wealth you want. You can extract whatever lifestyle you want. You want to be happy? You can change your mindset, and trust me, you will be happy. We don't see it because we are under the spell. Yet we still talking about a fucked up movie that's only going to keep you more under the spell. It's hard to get people out of the spell. That's one thing, my work that I tell you is the hardest thing to do is get you out of the spell and see that it's you, not this white man, not this rule, not none of that. We can imagine the life that you want based upon you're changing your thought process and believing. Listen, if you don't believe me, go study placebo. Why they tell you, here, take a sugar pill and it will heal you. You can use that same concept in your life and you'll win. It's called mindset. What you believe will come true. You have to believe that you have the ability to compete in this thought world, but you don't know that. You don't have a clue that ideals are fashioned in the brain first. The question is, what are you fashioning that you will plan to bring into this existence? If your answer is no, obviously you're distracted from yourself. That's the part. So I don't give a damn how much you talk about what you got out the movie, what it was about. Hey, black people, you're not going to see any benefits. You didn't get no benefits from the first movie. We're still killing each other. We still ain't producing nothing as individuals, that is. We still don't know how to spend money amongst each other. And we're still giving our money away from people who we say we don't like. You're still going to the movie, but yet you say you want to support Kanye. But the movies is owned by the Jewish people. You still give them your money, and they're still giving you back nothing for your viewing of the movie and the nothing for the money. I always say, if you're going to read a book, make sure you read a book that you can advance with, that's going to give you in value more than what you pay for. That's why I started this. So you can't show me no value. None of you can show me a value in the movie that's more than what you paid for. So therefore, you in the state of this illusion that's dangling. That's all I'm hearing is dangle. The dangle illusion is what you are impressed with. But it's getting you nowhere, and this is the problem with black people. And let me end by this. Here's the problem with Africa, the continent of Africa, and the people on it. The people are in the same condition we are in. You know what that is? They don't know what's beneath their feet. And so the Europeans and the Asians are coming to buy the land because they know what's beneath their feet. It is the same thing. We don't understand what we all have power in that's beneath our own feet. So they use our power just like they're getting ready to use up and dig up Africa and get all those minerals in the ground and use it for their benefit. Over here, they dig up all of our minerals out of our brain and they use it for their benefit. They constantly do this trick to us. And yet we are producing nothing, absolutely nothing, but continue And you will see next year there'll be another movie out, and we'll still have the same condition as the people we're in, fighting to go see a movie that ain't gonna do us any good. And so here's the thing: you can play all you want. We can play all the games and do all the traveling you want. You think that's what life's about? I'm sorry, it's not. There's only two things you are here for. That's experience and express. You know why foreigners come over here and they ain't got time to play no damn games? And they're here getting their wealth and sending their wealth back home and taking care of their family. This country is about getting your money. It ain't about play. Play is for the suckers. Play is for those who just kind of lost over a sucker, unless you done gained your wealth. If your ass is under a poverty status in your mind, your ass ain't got time for playing. You got to buckle up. That's why these foreigners come over here, work 2 or 3 jobs. Next thing you know, they got stores, and we're going to their stores, giving them our money, right? Because we don't have the ability to do it because we're caught up in what? Movies and games. They ain't playing games. That's why these foreigners who are less than us, meaning in the numbers, and they're winning. They're winning all the wealth. They're sending it back home. They're gaining. What we doing? We're playing and watching movies. That's what we're doing. We into the games, video games, movies. We're doing stuff that's not going to benefit us in life. It's not going to benefit you. So you as an individual have to ask yourself, where in life is what you're doing benefiting you? And if it's not benefiting you, then you need to stop it. Or stop complaining that the white man's the devil and he's doing that dangling thing. Kanye was right. Slavery is a choice. And y'all choosing it every damn day by watching that kind of shit. You're choosing the condition in your mind right now by allowing them to put into your brain that trigger that triggers your emotions. And that's how they control you.
So
Hey.
I want to respond because he said a lot. I know we're coming to a close. He said a lot, which, he's always coming through with the wisdom, which I greatly appreciate. If you guys are logged in with us at Tipping Point Morning Show, hit that like, share this video, hit that like button 1,000,000 times so the algorithms can pick this video up and share it. All right. So now, brother,
before you do that, real quick, John, what was that thing that you were giving away to the person that hashtags?
Absolutely. 16 jars of spices, whole pack. Ain't been open, and since Thanksgiving coming up, that other day of everybody just eating like crazy, right? And this will be perfect for you. This will be perfect for you and your seasoning of your foods, right? And if the one that taps in, what is the rule? Tap in most of the people, tag them into this tipping point. I'm gonna ship this to you. I'm going to pack it up and I'm gonna mail it to you.
There you go. Hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. Like, share, and comment. Hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. Like, share, and comment. Hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. Like, share, and comment. Appreciate our family. Go ahead, Pierre. Take it away.
All right. So again, I like to bring my economics perspective to the table here. And I know that John is really, dealing with the mentality of people, trying to get people to, to deal with the mental state of things. But I would like to, give a little pushback, and maybe not be a pushback, but just a little, me and brother Yah, we debate often, so he knows where I'm coming from. But you said that poverty is it doesn't exist. I'd like to counter.
Okay.
And explain that poverty is the natural state of man.
Okay.
And poverty cannot be created. Poverty is the natural state or the original state of man. Okay. Only prosperity can be created. When you're born in this world, you have nothing. And guess what? If you do nothing, you will continue to have nothing. You will continue to be and operate in poverty. You must produce wealth and prosperity. That means you must take nothing and turn it into something. All right. If you fail to do anything, right? If you don't operate, you shut your business down right now, you're surely going to fall into poverty, guaranteed. So I would like to say that poverty actually exists. It's the natural state of man. And that's the reason, that's the importance of production. Productivity, we have to be productive to generate wealth and prosperity, to improve the standard of living, our standard of living, or our quality of life. Secondly, I believe in a free society where no one can tell you what you need to be doing in life. And guess what? Often, I can tell you that there are lots of people that generate wealth using anti-conventional, wisdom. We were just talking with my daughter, who was talking about the Cash Me Outside girl. I don't even, this ignorant chick made over $40 million online. just pure ignorance. And one day, I believe, $40 million. There are so many ways to wealth. It's not one way to get to wealth. Timing is a thing. So you can have the greatest idea in the world. I saw the guy who's the engineer of Apple. He created the smartwatch that I'm using right here in the 80s. But guess what? It was the wrong timing. We had virtual reality in the 80s. If y'all don't remember, it's nothing. This shit is new. The timing is another aspect of the thing. So, people that's, trying to produce wealth and have a business, I like Master P. I love Master P because he's constantly generating businesses after businesses. And guess what, man? All your businesses ain't going to succeed. And Master P said himself, he said, all it takes is one. All it takes is one. So what you're doing today might be a good business strategy, but the timing may be wrong. The timing may be bad, I should say. So it's a lot of different aspects to actually getting wealth. Your network, who you know, can get you in the position of power. So it's so many aspects to it, and to have a life that's fulfilling. I know you said that like life is about experience and stuff like that. But like I said, there's some people who live a life, and again, I don't dictate how people live their life, but there's some people who live a life that is focused on the afterlife, like the Coptic Christians, right? They live in prayer 24/7. They don't do nothing. Okay, so you talking about somebody who's not getting no kind of programming at all? Those are the people there, but they also ain't getting no poom poom. You value poom poom more than other stuff. You value the poom poom. You're gonna have to start learning some ways of the world. You see what I'm saying? Listen, you're gonna have to know how to treat a woman. You're gonna have to know how to entertain her. Women are really sharp up here in the emotions, not the physical. Men, we're like into the physical, but with women, you have to be able to get into their brain. That's why you give them flowers. You're signaling things. Animals do this, right? You see the peacocks; they show their little feathers, trying to get into our imagination. You know what I'm saying? So there's other things in life that's beyond education and stuff like that. And I value education. I run Wall Street Jack Boys. You guys want to learn, economics and finance and, stock trading and stuff like that. We do that at Wall Street Jack Boys. I'm all about it. But again, as I've, matured, I understand that, not to be so dogmatic in my approach. And again, I was telling you guys about the Sims video game, living a life fulfilling. If you take all your time and just study, just like the Coptic Christians who are in prayer 24/7. And I get this way sometimes. My wife had to realign me sometimes, like, hey, baby, you haven't paid us no attention. You need to get the baby out. We need to we need to go on a date. All right. And I'll go into my studies and I'm like hardcore, no TV, no nothing. I can get real dogmatic with it. And I think a lot of us men can get that way. But at the same time, like Warren Buffett, who neglected his wife, he lost his wife. He lost your queen, B. So all that knowledge and all that stuff, you lost your queen. Like, okay, so we have to have a balance. So that's what my wife is always telling me, having this balance. So that sometimes you could come back with a refreshed mind. Sometimes I stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning trying to solve problems, trying to solve issues. And I would exhaust myself and I sleep and I dream about these things. I fix problems and puzzles in my brain when I sleep. And I wake up exhausted with bags under my eyes because my brain is restless. I can get that way. My wife has to sometimes make me go to sleep. She knows, she can see it. And that's why you got to get yourself a good wife, fellas. She can see I'm burning out. Hey, baby, you got to get some rest. Guess what? Leave it alone tonight. You come back in the morning with a refreshed mind. And guess what? It always helps. It always helps. I can exhaust my brain, steady trying to solve. But sometimes it could be just taking a step away into a different environment, going to the mountains, getting a breath of fresh air or something, and then that brings me back to perspective. Sometimes just unplugging from the internet world and just dealing with nature, going to the beach, just listen to the oceans roar. All these things helps the mental. And again, the seeds that's been planted. And I think John, he was saying how like commodities don't do anything. He's right. Like energy doesn't do anything. The purpose of energy is to serve man. All right. Oil exists in the earth. It never had any purpose until somebody imagined a freaking vehicle. All right, that can be gas powered, right? Automobile, transportation, all these things. Humans must convert those commodities into something that can actually work. But the imagination is so powerful, and that's why I think that it could be a blind spot if you don't recognize the imagination. That's what's important about the kids and the young people today in schools. I homeschool, and I encourage people to homeschool if you have the capacity to. Okay, homeschooling is so great because my child, she is so creative. She's allowed to be very, very creative. She doesn't understand the constraints that the other kids go through. She don't have those same stress and pressures. This allow her to operate more freely, and she can use her imagination to create things. As I was talking earlier, a lot of the devices and things that we use today was showed in Hollywood on some movie. Somebody just came up with an idea, just fantasized about something that people can possibly do one day, and then somebody like an Elon Musk could go and make it. You know, go make a flamethrower. You know, video games and stuff like that. These are different places that you can actually extract value from it, right? So it just depends on how you look at it, right? Can you extract some value out of that thing? You see an idea. Microsoft and Apple went to Xerox and they saw everything that they needed to build Microsoft and Apple. It was already made. Xerox already made the PC, the computer, the keyboard, and the mouse. They took them on a tour and they saw it. Steve Jobs didn't create
The
the idea.
Macintosh.
Yes, the Macintosh. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates was best friends. Okay, these guys were programming together. They went through a tour through Xerox and they saw this is where the seed came from. So when people say, why was Steve Jobs such an asshole? Because he already saw what he needed for his engineers to make, and they was pissing him off because he already knew how it was supposed to have done because he saw it. So that's what I'm saying. Like the visuals help with the imagination so that you can then transfer and convert it into something that's productive. You know, so I think that those are the things. All in all, you know, if you're gonna watch a movie, there are some people who's not gonna watch movies. That's fine. But if you're gonna watch a movie, I think it's a good movie. What's the alternative, John? You make a movie that people are going to sit here and watch. I watch documentaries all the time. I can tell you, I am a boring movie watcher. Okay, I watch documentaries all the time. That's how I learn a lot because I like learning. And you know, the kids and the wife, they're just like, that's just boring. It's old, and I can't get with it. It's not stimulating my brain enough. And so I encourage people to make films and documentaries in a way that like how Hollywood does. Right? You want to get your message out, your education, but you still have to be able to grab people's attention. And so sometimes with all the education and all this other stuff, we talk about this stuff all the time. Look how many people is logged in right now, right? There's going to be more people that's going to watch Wakanda Forever than that's going to watch this podcast. Why? Because they're humans. So as educators ourselves, we have to figure out that human element. Well, what's gravitating these people to these things, and how can we actually utilize it to bring them to our format, to bring them to our platform, so that we can share this value with them. So those are the things I would have to say.
So when we look at that, and appreciate you, Pierre, on that. Appreciate you, John, on that. I feel like there's a balance here, right? Somebody says something. Who is this? Frank Nato. He says, we are all guilty of this, for real, for real. Just be thankful that you have the ability to change and can recognize. So there's something within that is valuable to me. I think a lot of what I'm thinking about is the fact that, let's see. Health Daddy Wow, he says, no balance when you're poor mentally, emotionally, and physically. So if a person is poor mentally, emotionally, and physically, I don't know if they have the mental aptitude to go and see a Wakanda Forever and then come home and apply some of the positive things they see into their own life. I don't know. Or maybe that could be the trigger for that. I don't know. But I think a lot of what, is to be said about this is the fact that myself, if I go see this movie, which I'm going to go see it today, it's strictly entertainment, and my mindset is such that it's not going to affect me at home, right? Now, I know people, we all know people, have seen people, we see a whole culture and society of people that look at certain things like rap, certain rap music, certain ratchet TV, and certain people with poor mindsets, that stuff sits back in their subconscious. And when the time is right, or better yet, we might say when the time is wrong, that shit comes out. And that emulation happens in real life because it's sitting in their subconscious, and they don't have the mental aptitude to separate entertainment from real life. So their actions, people don't realize how that body language and everything starts to play a part in their real life, right? So so I feel like there has to be a particular level of balance when it comes to this. You probably shouldn't be going to see movies, I don't know. Like John says, you need to be focused on things that are going to empower you, things that you can grab from and apply into your everyday life, right? Because if we could get more of us doing that, then we as a people could move forward together, right?
Why would they do that? But why would they do that when they got welfare?
That goes back to the piece I said earlier, the piece that I spelled about. Give me a child until he's 7 and I'll show you the man. We're seeing the man as we're talking about him right now. The grown person that is stuck in the illusion of this fictitious world. Now, let me answer this question about poverty. I like what the brother said. Poverty is not a natural state. In fact, no one's born impoverished. And let me clear that up. When I'm talking about poverty, if you are trying to say that wealth is based on things you accumulate, that is a false narrative. If you think that wealth is your money and how much money you have, that is a false narrative. And that's why you have none and you're not able to learn how to attract wealth. Here's where poverty, and here's where there is no such thing as poverty. When I mentioned that it's a mindset, let me explain it again. About the conversation or the subject, give me a child until he's 7 and I'll show you the man. Do you understand the concept of theta wave and the ability to upload information in the brain? Are you saying that's a impoverished brain? Unless the brain is uploaded with impoverished information. Okay, but no one's born in poverty. Everyone has wealth. You're born in this world with these functions. These functions are wealthy. These functions, the ability to think and see and cipher, to figure out feelings of who's bad for you, who's good for you, using your fingers and communicating with your thoughts to your hand. And listen, having the ability to create. Just the ability to think of something that's not here is wealthy as fuck. The ability to imagine is the most wealthiest thing you have, and there is no such thing as poverty. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as poverty unless your poverty view is based on collection of things. And this is why people who are wealthy can still be depressed and not live their fullest life, not happy, because their emotions of happiness is based in things. I'm trying to tell you, and this is the ability to understand how your mind works, is that you are born wealthy mindset. The problem is your poverty is the way you're thinking. The uploaded information that is subconsciously uploaded that's keeping you from extracting the wealth, that which is keeping you from having the ability to create something out of here and bring it into this existence is wealthy. You cannot have nothing and be born in this world as a grown man. You know the first thing you're going to do? You're going to try to find food and shelter. That's intelligence, baby. That's wealthy. To be able to take a tree and take some limbs and chop it down and make some fire to get me some food and be able to create those limbs and create me a hut or a house by the end of the night. That is wealth. We got to understand wealth. Your ability to walk, think, move is wealth. It's not based on. And once you realize that wealth, you can extract anything from a substance to gain you the material things that you call wealth. That's what I'm
dealing with. The mental. You're dealing with.
I'm talking about the mental. I'm not talking about the physical. When I say there is no such thing as poverty, you have to understand the ability of the brain. You wasn't born impoverished. If that brain has the ability to have what? Creativity. No other animal on the planet can think about its tomorrow but the human being. Other animals and species can only live in the now based upon their instinct. We have the ability to think next week, next year, and plan for next week, next year. That's wealth. Well, regardless
here's a piece here. Pierre, when you think about this, because you keep saying, well, that's the mental, that's the mental, that's the mental. But the mental creates the physical.
That's right.
Everything that's in the physical is created by the mental. Therefore, the mental is really where it's all at. That's the most
No.
It is the most wealthiest tool you have is your imagination. I'm trying to really get this in y'all's head.
And it's the one thing that separates us from animals.
Listen, but see, what John is talking about is the ability to produce wealth. Let me explain something to you, right? So, because again, what's happening here is that you're almost basically kind of redefining what wealth is, right? So, wealth, how do we define wealth? What is wealth, right? So, if we have to have consensus on what wealth is. It's an abundance of something, right? An abundance of anything. So, you have an abundance of something. And so, when you have a mindset, that's one of the key ingredients that you need to be able to produce wealth. But see, knowledge is one of those things, right? Wisdom is putting that knowledge to action. We have lots of ideas and stuff, but if you never actually put it into action, it doesn't produce anything. And so that's why I said that poverty is a natural state of man, because you have nothing, and if you do nothing, you will surely fall into poverty.
But that's incorrect. If you have the ability to think, you can change your condition. That's the most wealthy thing you have.
No. But what the blind spot that you have, brother Yah, is that has to be put into action. I don't care about the ability to. Everybody has the ability to, but everybody ain't wealthy. So what I'm saying is that you have to put this into action in order to produce wealth.
Oh, no, I'm not denying that. That's secondary, my friend. What I'm speaking about is the primary. The ability to have the imagination is the most wealthiest thing you have. You talking secondary. I'm talking primary. And the reason why people are unable to execute it is because of the programs that's stopping them from executing. I'm not talking about that. What I'm trying to tell you, everyone's born with an imagination, which is the most wealthiest thing your creator gave you. Is to imagine, and that's it. Right. How you use it and produce it later is another learned technique. But that's not the point I'm making. I'm trying to tell everyone you are wealthy and you have the ability to create. That's all I'm saying. And that is
okay. I got you. And so I work in the world of economics. And so in the economic science, that's why I'm describing it in such a way that I agree with you that to have the ability is a key, like that's one of the most valuable things that we have. We have the ability to do those things, right? And so that is great. But if you never do anything with it, I know people that I talk to all the time who tell me they want to do this, that, and the third. They've been saying the same thing for 4 or 5 years. Every time, oh, I want to start this business, man. Oh, I want to start this business, man. Oh, I want to start this business, man. What's stopping you from starting the business?
That's my point, Pierre. That's why I'm saying everyone's born with wealth. Whether you use it to extract this material things or not.
But that's nothing. That's what I'm saying.
It is everything because you can't have secondary without the primary. So why is it nothing? It's the primary thing you need.
Exactly. No. The primary, what you're talking about are the ingredients, right? We call these goods of the first order, right? These are the things that you need to produce things, right? So the things that we need to produce wealth is the first to have a mindset that can be creative, right? So we already understand that. You need freedom also. You need the ability to have private property and all those things. Those are the primary ingredients. However, you had those things even in a nation like Africa, who you said earlier had all these resources and did not know what to do with the resources, right? They had all those ingredients, but they did nothing with it. White people or other people, Arabs, whoever, don't have those natural resources. There's no such thing as equality, first of all, right? There's land inequalities. There's certain nations that grow certain things and build certain things that other nations don't have. And Africa has lots of resources. These people come from nations that don't have no resources. So when we have all this abundance, we sitting on abundance and wealth of gold and wealth of all these resources, and nobody's doing anything with it. That's why the kings of those days forced slavery on a lot of the people in Africa, because people wasn't doing anything. You took it for granted. Whereas you have people who come from a nation that don't have these resources, like sugar, for instance, right? Sugar was more valuable than gold in Europe. That's why we had a transatlantic slave trade, right? They took people as a commodity to go and get the sugar from South America and sell it back as a commodity like stocks in Europe, right? So it's to have the ability is not the action. To have the ability is an ingredient. And so to have that ability, we all have it, and that's great, but that's not wealth. If you do nothing with it, you surely will fall into poverty. You have to produce something. You have to produce prosperity and wealth. Only wealth and prosperity can be produced. Poverty, if you do nothing, you surely will find yourself impoverished. So doing nothing will lead you to poverty. Production is the only key to getting to wealth. That's what I am saying. And
correct.
So
correct.
Mindset is great.
I agree. This is why again I'm saying the creativity is the greatest thing you have. Secondary is learning how to take your creativity and bring it into its existence. That's the key. So let me re-mention something again as in my thesis of writing of how I discovered this mindset. Okay, from a prison cell, facing the death penalty, with nothing, absolutely nothing, right? And just the imagination of who I wanted to be. Just that imagination itself vibrated the reality of the system around me, which is the magnetic force, to connect with what my thoughts were and put me in an exact position where I am today. That's why I'm speaking from that. I'm speaking from a mindset. You are wealthy, my people who are listening. You just don't know how wealthy you are because you're not practicing the mindset that you need to practice inside your imagination. If I'm a creator of products, I make products. Where do those products come from? My mind. My mind thought of it. Then as I thought of it, guess what? The universe moved people in my space to help me produce that product in this reality, whether they're from China, Taiwan, or India. It doesn't matter. The point is that it came from the thought first. Me and Joe, you and Joe, we were just having a conversation about thought process of the product that you want. And how, when you do that, didn't you say some things popped up in your face, the answer to what you were looking for that comes to you? You see, that's secondary. The most important thing you have, God gave you, is your imagination. And you are allowing other people to fuck with your imagination with subliminal messages in movies and television and songs that disrupt your ability to create. So I ask everyone, do you have something you're trying to bring out your brain to share with humanity? If not, then you're not creative enough. You're not using your imagination to see yourself better than who you are now. The ability from a jail cell facing the death penalty. Facing the death penalty, I had imagined I'm in this position. I'm facing the death penalty. You didn't hear me. I'm in solitary confinement. How did this happen? I didn't have this wealth. Shit. I'm saying is my mind attracted everything based on me changing the concept inside that jail cell. I didn't see myself low. I didn't see myself impoverished. I didn't see none of that. What I ran from I ran from being in jail, and I ran to my imagination. And my imagination connected with the universe, and the universe opened those doors for me in the Supreme Court when I got convicted. And they opened the doors and let me out. And now I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now. What I'm speaking for.
How did you get that? Was the idea that you had from a materialism, or was it metaphysical?
No. The idea is
divine operation.
It's taking the imagination as a child. How children have imagination. Where did it come from? Their own imagination. Whether you would take, as a child, I used to take a pair of scissors and make it into a flying saucer. Children, the imagination of the child is preparing you as an adult to put things out because your creator, your God, wants you to create. Oh, he wants to experience too because he experiencing it through you.
So the idea came from God.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say where it came from. What I'm saying is everyone has an imagination. Do you know everyone has experienced it? I'm going to break something down that everyone in life has experienced.
Hey, John, before you break that down, before you break that down real quick, because he's asking about where the idea came from. So you've told this story before, and one of the things you notated, and I can't remember if you were in solitary confinement or something like that, but the whole idea was you were purposely imagining better for yourself so as to not get caught up in your immediate surroundings.
No, let me explain. Okay, I elevated who I thought I was in my dream of imagination. I asked a young man that went to go become a doctor, and he said he didn't believe in that. I said, wait a minute, before you became a doctor, did you not imagine yourself wearing that white coat? Did you not, before you became a doctor, before you decided to be a doctor, did somehow you imagine what that looks like in that white coat? Right? There it is. Right there. No, but those things
My question
Those
to you,
things
Brother
give
John.
you the energy to move forward that which you want. While at the same time, that is moving that in your direction towards you. So what I'm trying to say is that I was so depressed that I wanted to escape. And the only way I could escape was to imagine I was a Superman or a Batman or a better man. Regardless, I had begun to play it out as though it was me. And that's what I'm trying to explain that we don't get apparently is that I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. The imagination is the greatest tool your ass have on the planet. And you're not using their imagination. You're not using it to the fullest. That's what I'm saying. If you concentrate on thinking of something, and I can give you books on I can give you books on magnetation, on personal magnetism. I can give you books on how the brain works, right? And how this function works inside the brain. That if you focus on something so hard, it becomes a material in your brain. You focus on it so hard till it become a material out here. It's called psychoneuroimmunology. And it's called having a thought in your brain to connect with reality out here. There is no such thing as poverty. There's only a impoverished mindset. If you don't know you have that ability, that's a impoverished mindset.
Poverty exists if you do not produce nothing. You will surely fall into poverty. So again, I'm going to kick back on that. But I will recommend this book here for you, since I know you like to deal with a lot of philosophical things. And this is, Professor Ludwig von Mises, who's, arguably the greatest economist to ever live. He has lots of volumes of things. Later in his life, you start to deal with a lot of philosophical things, philosophy and theories of history, epistemological things, and a lot of stuff, right? He just, started kind of get away from economics a little bit. And the reason I asked you this question about where does the ideal come from, because this is an argument that is actually in there, okay? And the argument, it was something that the socialists, Marxists, Karl Marx and them, they believe in the dialectical materialism and stuff like that. And so the argument is about materialism versus like metaphysics. Okay, where do ideas come from? He actually addresses the question in this book here. It's called Theory of History. And basically, Marx believed that ideas came from materialism, materialistic things. That's where ideas come from. So the question I'm asking is, where do you believe the ideas come from? I know, me as a Christian, I believe that the ideas come from God. I think that ideas come from the divine one, our creator. I think it comes from a metaphysical, process versus material process.
I think we all can agree with that.
Well, I don't know if people do, because some people, most atheists probably believe in most of them are
the three of us here, I believe, can agree with that.
Okay, so like materialism means like, okay, I got this idea because of all the physical things around me, and that's where the idea came from. And in the Bible, consistently, you can see how God came to people in dreams and revealed things to them, And in my dreams, things revealed to me. Like you said, a business you want to start or whatever starts as an idea. Where did the idea come from? My mom will always say, hey, God gave me this idea to start a cleaning business, when she started a cleaning business. Or God gave me this idea to go buy this land, right? We just bought some land this past week. Where does ideas come from? Right?
Let me answer
Maybe
that.
There could be another topic. Maybe there could be another one of our shows.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of wanted to know.
Let me answer that thing about ideals. Okay, so everyone has experienced this, and I love talking about things that are universal, that everyone has experienced. And in your lifetime, you have seen something or witnessed something, and you have said in your lifetime, maybe as a child, I can produce something better than that. I wonder if it was shaped like this, would it hook on better that way? Or I wonder if it was looking like this. Oh, that can help this out in the process of washing dishes. You are always thinking of something that comes because the mind is always searching. The frontal lobe of the brain is always searching for information. Understand that. The subconscious mind is a recorder. It only does is record and play. That's all its job is, to record. It records everything that the subconscious mind didn't see or didn't catch. In fact, the subconscious mind is so powerful and is a magnetic force in the moment that it dumps information that it doesn't think it can utilize. But at the same time, the subconscious mind still got it, and it's grabbed it. Now, let me give you an example from an inventor. I'm a creator, and I'm an inventor, and I'm also a provisional patent holder. So listen to this, and this is very interesting. So years ago, I came up with this ideal and that I have patent on, right? So I worked on this patent with me and my friend attorney, and we worked on this patent that we was working on. It came from an idea from my brain that it took me maybe almost 6 months to a year to actually bring this ideal in my head onto paper. Now check this out. This is what I discovered about magnetism and dealing with the electromagnetic field around us. First of all, it is true that in your brain there's an electromagnetic wave that's connected to an electromagnetic field all around us. And I don't care what you want to call it, God or whatever. I'm going to give it the physical word, electromagnetic field all around us. In fact, the electromagnetic field is so powerful. It's powerful like this. If it wasn't for the electromagnetic field, all atoms could not bond together and they would just fall down. Meaning your nose and everything would just fall apart and lay out on the ground, because the electromagnetic field is what pulls it together. This is why it's so important to understand adamant objects, that they're not actually standing still. They're moving with atoms that are alive. You are a part of that too. That's why there's only one energy. There's no separative energies. So listen to this. Before I came up with this ideal, I had already pushed this ideal in my brain out into the universe. Now guess what happened? Next thing you know, I started seeing other people with the same ideal. Not quite all the same, but all of a sudden start being attracted to it. Now here's what I figured out. Either my brain picked up a wave signal from someone else to tell me to produce this, or my wave signal from thinking put it out there and someone else picked it up. This is why it is said there is nothing new under the sun. We're all sharing information amongst us. It depends on what wave you pick up and what information that is downloaded into your brain. It has nothing to do with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind job is to record everything it sees. But how do you create something that it never saw before? That comes from a thought that's so deep that when you have an ideal, it comes when you're not thinking. Notice if two things happen. Notice when you're trying to find something that you're looking for, no matter how hard you thought about it, it didn't come to you, because the frontal lobe of the brain is busy running its mouth, yapping, trying to find it. The subconscious mind know exactly where it's at because it placed it there. It remember. But you have to shut your brain down in order to hear the subconscious mind. It's called meditation. This is why when ideals come to you, they come to you at a spurt of a moment, meaning that it came in between your thoughts. Because it can't come while you're thinking, because that's when God is trying to talk to you and you ain't listening to him, because your frontal lobe is too busy with the chatter. This is why you got to quiet down, get into a meditative state, and wait until it comes to you. And ideals will pop to you. I don't care whether you want to call it God or magnetism. It doesn't matter. The question is, why did it come to you? Do you have the ability to bring that ideal into this existence? I'm surrounded around thought stuff. And I'm a part of it also. I'm a part of my trademarks that I own, of my logos. I'm a part of my inventions that I have patented, right? It all came from the ideal that, what I like to say is this. You have a thought that enters your brain, and we all experience that. The frontal lobe of the brain tries to figure out, oh, how can I bring this into existence? It asks the subconscious mind, hey, subconscious mind, do you know of any material? And the subconscious mind, yeah, I know some plastic over here. I read about somebody that does something over here. Subconscious mind is doing its job. The frontal lobe is asking the question. But where do ideals come from that was not loaded in the subconscious mind? They are part of the electromagnetic field of thought waves all around us. This is a fact that we're so dumbed down of understanding these simple components of how the brain works. So I send out a wave, just like I send out a wave of a thought for somebody, and poof, there's the phone call. That person's calling me. Or I send out a wave of a thought from somebody, and I'm talking to somebody, and they bring up their name. It's the same thing dealing with the electromagnetic wave and the electromagnetic field around us and inside of our brain, which an electric magnetic wave.
So
We
you're
don't
saying the
understand the
brain is
power of this
emitting.
brain.
You're saying
Google
the
the
brain is.
information of electromagnetic wave in the brain and the electromagnetic field out here and see if you don't see a physical connection between the two. This is the power that can exist, that you can overcome any condition in your life. You can change any condition by thought waves and thought patterns. I got plenty of information. I'll be more than glad to give anyone a free consultation on how this shit works. If you didn't hear it right here, it's the part of the brain that is the imagination. Never stop imagining. Somehow, I said it before, the school system dumb us down by taking away our imagination, by clunking us together in single thought, by taking away the very thing that made us different as a child. And that was our signature in cursive writing. Now they took away the signature, so they're taking away your own creativity, because the first creativity you had to show your difference with somebody else in this form, in this dimension, is your handwriting. They knew it. That's why they took it out of public school. They don't
Right.
want you to be creative.
So you hit a lot on the imagination and things in the mental, but what is the ingredients that's required for people to turn that into action?
Boom, that's what I just said. See, so here's the thing. When you are having a thought of something and it is pulsating in your brain and you are believing in it, guess where your walk goes? Guess if you think most of the day of a product, guess what you're going to do tomorrow? You're going to start researching and trying to find it, right? Or at the same time, that which you're looking for that carries the same signal of your thought. Because when you have a thought, let's say you're looking for a red table, a certain size, a certain height, right? That red table, that thought in your brain is sending out a frequency. That frequency is looking for that table. Now that table is looking for you. That's how it attracts. So don't think that you can just have a thought and sit on your ass and do nothing. No, that thought that you have is going to give you the energy and the power to get up and walk towards that which you want. And that which you're walking towards is also coming towards you. So no, I'm not sitting around and saying, think of some shit. You just a fucking dream of you sitting around getting high, thinking of some shit and think it's going to come. No, you got to move towards your belief. You believe it, you got to research it. Look it up. Find it. Find the model. Find the label.
Belief. One's actions will bring about the satisfaction or the removal of dissatisfaction is the reason why humans act. That's the book I was telling you about, Human Action.
Correct.
So the idea, it can sit in the brain and sit dormant until you turn it into action. Now, that's what, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, so you have to have a belief that you're, hey, I'm gonna do this thing to bring about the satisfaction in the world that I want to do, or bring about the, to remove the dissatisfaction in my life. So you got to have the belief also, right?
Correct.
And
belief comes after. You can't have belief until you have the ideal. Belief comes after the created ideal. But your ability to create is your gift, and that makes you wealthy. That's my point.
Yeah. Based off of your definition of wealth. Yeah. I'm going to concede the point, because again, I'm thinking that wealth and abundance, not the ability to do something, because everybody got the ability to do something. We don't even have to discuss that. What are you doing with it? If you're not doing anything, you surely will fall into poverty. So what can we do with these ideas that we have? And not just what can we do, but what are you doing to produce? Only wealth and prosperity can be produced.
Correct. Listen to this. When I mentioned that everyone has practiced and experienced an ideal in their head that they later saw in existence and say, I thought of that when I was a little kid. You know what? When you thought of it and had it in your brain, you didn't have the resources to move on it. Didn't mean you couldn't think about it, though. And then you see it in existence. Now, name me a person, name me if any of y'all have never experienced that, and I'm going to tell you, you got a dead brain. Everyone in life has experienced something in their life that they saw in, for instance, and said, I thought of that long time ago. Everyone has that experience. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you're brain dead. If you have never had an experience of seeing something that you thought of yourself before you saw it, you are brain dead. This is the point I'm making, that the most valuable thing you have is your imagination. If you don't get that, then we are talking to people with a docile mind.
Yeah. My dad, is an IT expert, and so is my uncle. And they both talked about how they talked about amongst each other and had the idea of the Garmin, Google. Y'all remember when the first Garmin
GPS.
things came out? GPS, yeah, the whole
MapQuest
Garmin
and all that. Yeah,
they had that idea like years before, right? And so as we've talked about on this show a lot, when you have an idea, you're sending out a frequency, right? You're sending out a frequency into the universe. So if you don't focus on capitalizing on that idea, well, the universe wants to bring that forth.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's going to bring it forth in any way it can. If you don't capitalize on bringing it forth, then someone else will be the receiver of that universal thought. So the story of what is it, McDonald's, that movie that came out, that's a good example of that, because the guy went and he saw how McDonald's people was doing their thing, and then ultimately they did not want to capitalize on that. He saw them mass producing burgers in such a manner, he was like, yo, this will be great for the industry. And they didn't want to capitalize on it. He kind of stole it and then brought forth elsewhere, and that's what we see for the McDonald's today, or it was Burger King. I can't remember which one, but it's the same premise.
Let me ask you this, right? Black people and all our spiritualism and glory and vibrations and frequencies, we understand all these things as, from our culture and I guess history, frequencies, vibrations, the information, the knowledge of these frequencies and vibrations and, magnetism. Yet we're still slave class. And white people and Asian people are not in tune to the frequencies, and well, some of the Asians, the Indians, they do meditation stuff, but white people in particular, not in tune. They don't have any educational understanding of frequencies. They have no education on the vibrations and all this other stuff. Amass all this wealth. So again, I have to ask, what does that matter if we're still impoverished and they are winning without that education of frequencies and vibrations and magnetism? What does it matter?
They are. You can't escape. You can't nobody escape magnetism and this vibration. You inside this.
Their education. They're ignorant of the knowledge that you're talking, right? But it's not impacting their ability. It's not impacting their wealth. They are at the top of the food chain, and they don't have.
But who says they're ignorant of that knowledge, though?
Yeah. Who says it? But here's the thing: we are right, but we again pass over what I said earlier about theta wave and taking a child from 1 to 7, and I'll show you the man. You don't know how they were raised in that, and to where they are using stuff that is just natural ability without knowing the knowledge of it, without knowing the technical knowledge of it, but they use it because they were born in it. If you were born in a certain situation, a certain environment, you will produce the same thing that you were born in. Rich Dad, Poor Dad talk about that. If your ass is born in a impoverished neighborhood and you impoverished, chances are 80% you're going to be impoverished too, because that's where you was born. If you were born in rich, you was born in wealth, and that's all you saw is wealthy, new cars all the time, you can be dumb as hell with no education, and you will continue that same wealth. Look at Donald Trump. So the point is that I can't answer that question, but what I can say is this. Again, it goes back to the mindset of the ability to think something through and have that ability to utilize it. What I'm trying to say is this: there is no such thing as slavery. And when I'm trying to point, and I know people gonna try to knock me on this one, but I can challenge anyone that show me where is slavery, and I'm gonna show you a mindset. So I can show you that, if you would say you enslaved, someone say, hey, I'm enslaved. Why are you enslaved? Why are you in that condition? Because you working hard. Name me a people on the planet and ever before that when they were building great pyramids and building great stuff that they weren't working to get it, right? Everything's about work. Somehow we equate hard work with slavery. And so now we shun away from hard work because we address it to, hey, I'm enslaved. Listen, I work 24/7 to create my business. I thought of it from one end to the next. I didn't focus on no downside that said somebody said I couldn't do it. I didn't think about the white man Illuminati saying you can't become a millionaire unless you sign over to me. I didn't think about none of that. I continued to push towards my ideal and my creativity that I'm still doing today. What I'm trying to teach is that everyone needs to tap into that source inside themselves, their creativity, and utilize that shit to bring it out here in humanity. Because if you got something that you can share with humanity that is good for humanity, the universe wants to back you up. Continue to push towards it. Continue to work towards it. This is why I said, make sure when you spend money for a book, you're going to get more out of the book than the money you paid for. That's how you look at it. You will gain success. You will gain your success more if you use these certain tools and understanding how the brain works.
So like in my line of work, right, I deal with billion-dollar asset managers, all white people, obviously. Oh, well, there's some Asians that's at the head of these companies. I deal with asset managers, investment, bankers, and, they're billions of dollars, okay? These people are very wealthy, all right? And everybody is at in the ranks of what I'm dealing with in the capital markets. They're wealthy, all right? These people have no knowledge of vibrations and frequencies. This is to the comment that was on the from Brother Abu, I think his name was, not to you, John, but to Abu, saying white people do know this. I'm not saying that a small minority of white people are not familiar with this, but the majority, the masses, don't understand the things that you're talking about with frequencies and vibrations, yet it has no impact on their wealth and their creation of wealth. Right? They know the markets. They have education, and so the intelligence.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. Just because they don't know the technical term, don't mean they're not using it in their natural life. That's all I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying. I work with billion-dollar asset managers, and to have a conversation with them, attempt to have a conversation with them about vibrations and frequencies, they call that woo-woo talk. Woo-woo, right? Because it's metaphysic type stuff is what they think about it. I'm not, here to bash anybody's belief in any of that.
Correct.
But my question is what does it matter if you're talking about, well, we got to get wealth and get this things? And to me, just an observation of looking at the wealthiest people who have no knowledge of the things that you're talking about, who don't even believe in it. They may laugh at it. You can't have these kind of conversations in my environment. Okay, you will get, walked out of the damn.
But all of them has read Think and Grow Rich.
No, but I'm talking about frequencies,
exactly.
Vibrations, the science that you're talking about. We're talking about hertz.
Right? But that's exactly what Think and Grow Rich, the book, is about.
Exactly.
No. This is what I'm talking about. You're talking about frequencies. We can put a number to that, right? Are we talking 100 hertz? Are we talking 1200 kilohertz?
No,
what are we talking about? Frequencies, sound spectrums, all this other stuff.
I think what you're doing here is doing a mix. What you just saying is that when we're talking about mindset, you telling me that they didn't have a mindset to be rich? That's a frequency, my friend. It doesn't matter. If you read the Think and Go Rich, we're talking mindset and frequency. You don't have to know the frequency title number to it, but you know that your thoughts become reality. That's all. It doesn't matter. See, listen, I'm not into comparing myself to the billionaires or any of that. What I'm trying to give you is just pure facts. It doesn't matter whether they get it or don't get it. I'm not trying to compete against them. I'm trying to tell people that you can live a better life no matter whether you want to try to extract billions or just try to extract thousands, to where your life can be comfortable, whether you're living in Peru for $100 a month or whether you're living in New York $50,000 a month. I'm saying it don't matter. The question is, are you extracting happiness? Are you extracting the ability to enjoy life? A lot of billionaires are fucking sad as fuck. A lot of billionaires commit suicide because they're not really happy and having all that fucking wealth. I'm not telling anybody to go for everything. Listen, I'm not a greedy person. But what I do want is what belongs to me. The universe has something specifically for me. I want that. And it's not that this universe is stressed with lack. There's enough for everyone, and there's a piece carved out for you. Whoever's listening, you have to get that and fuck what the billionaires are doing and how they're thinking. I'm giving you some facts on how the brain works that you can read from these white books on Think and Go Rich that a lot of these billionaires are using today when they're thinking about how they're gonna amass wealth.
So when I talk to these billionaires, I can tell you just from being on the inside, these people don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
I bet they care
Hold on,
about
no,
think
no,
and
no,
grow
hold on,
rich.
hold on,
I bet
hold
you
on,
they
hold on,
think
hold
about
on,
think
hold
and
on,
grow
hold on,
rich.
hold on. Listen. I guarantee you, a lot of them haven't even read the fucking book. When I tell you, when you see,
I doubt that.
like, I mean, no. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. I work in asset management, right? The people I deal with are fucking assholes, all right? And guess what? They all know each other. They all went to school together or work together at investment banks, right? It's a connection. It's a network of people. You ever notice how when people get into the C-suites, like somebody who becomes a vice president, look at their resume.
You're
Look,
not
hold on,
gonna
hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm not
you're not
finished.
gonna take a
I'm not
small
finished.
niche
Hold on, I'm not finished.
of your information and
I'm not finished.
overshadow the whole
I,
thing about how the brain works. You
no,
can't
but
do that.
this is what I'm telling you. I'm not finished. When you see somebody who becomes in C-suite executives, when they change in their career, they stay in the C-suites for the rest of their tenure. They stay a vice president or a CEO or CFO at any job that they go to. Sometimes they don't stay at jobs forever. They skip around, but they stay in that echelon. It's a network of people that's there, and they actually went to the same schools or worked at the same places, and they put each other on. They have preference when opportunities come around. Those people get put first. It's a network. It's a connection thing, right? And so those people get put in position, with the network, you know what I'm saying? And then when they're talking, a lot of them are not as smart as you think they are, right? A lot of CFOs and blah, 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 they don't know all that stuff. They have other people that feed that information to them, and then they're going to relate that information. So I'm just saying, like, these people, they're not on the conscious level that you are on, John. They haven't read the material that you have read. I guarantee you, they have not read any of the shit that you read. It has not had any impact on their ability to amass wealth. And so that's why I was saying, like, what does it matter? What are they doing to get to where they are, right? So how are they actually really amassing their wealth? And I just gave you guys a couple of different things of why they
You
where they
still
are.
haven't told me their mindset. I'm speaking mindset. You
I
don't know
told you their
their
mind. I
mindset.
told you no. I
No,
listen.
because they talk to you, Pierre,
No,
and
no,
you
no,
in
no,
the
no,
company,
no, 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 no,
you
no,
don't
no.
know what they're doing
No.
in their nights and
Okay.
sleeping and what they're reading.
So
Stop
so I
it.
told no. I told you their mindsets. I am
You don't know their
focused.
mindset. That's just asking another man
Hold
because
on.
you can tell another man another person's mindset. You're not in
Hold
their
on.
head.
Hold on, John. I just told you, as a capital market analyst, right? I work with all the C-suite executives. In fact, I touch every part of the companies and externally. I am in investment committee meetings with these people all the time. We have side chats that we're talking to each other in the meeting, and I can guarantee you they are assholes. This is like college frat boy type
But I
shit.
mean,
Hold on. I'm
reading
talking
the
about
book
their
doesn't
mindset.
determine
Hold
whether or
on.
not they're gonna be an asshole or not.
No. I'm just talking about their mindsets. They're regular people is what I'm getting to. They're not like, oh,
Regular people read
the
books.
book. No. I'm just saying they're not to read the book, the knowledge. These people don't give a fuck about none of that shit because they already in position where they are anyway, and they got there by way of networking and other things. And it's not so much all the education. It's not all so much all the degrees. It's not all so much all the money. I got this one billionaire asset manager who's running a lot of things. He said that Japan
Because
was
it's a mindset.
yeah, hold on. He said Japan was throwing around a lot of money in New York. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time. He hooked up with some other guys. They flew out to Japan and they was having meetings and they got $2 billion to start a whole fund. You know, these guys just talking to them, they're fucking assholes. I mean, they really talk like when you see the movie the TV show Billions. Anybody ever seen the TV show Billions? If y'all seen that, if you seen Axe Capital, Axel Bobby Axelrod is his name. He is a super asshole. Okay, you see Donald Trump? You see Donald Trump? These are the type of people that's in this world. His personality, that's why they rock with him because it's normal, it's natural. This is how they deal with each other. You know what I'm saying? And when I come in there and I'm talking on my book smart and shit, they looking at me like, oh, this nigga.
You know what?
He
This is an
on too
important
much smart
comment
shit.
right
Yeah,
here.
you're overthinking it. Like you're overdoing it. It's just connection, right? When I'm sending out again $10 million trades a week, all right? I'm averaging $10 million in trades a week, and I'm sending shit over. Like some of the stuff is just connection. This by way, I'm sending some bullshit to somebody, and they're gonna pick it up just because my big dog, they work for him, and so most other asset managers are not gonna take this bullshit, but they're gonna take it off the strength of because of the relationship that exists. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Whereas, so it's a lot of different things to this whole wealth thing that I'm talking about. For somebody being on the inside, actually working, with these people, it's not about the vibrations and the frequencies and all this other stuff. Not with these guys, is what I'm saying. And so, but
absolutely
they're
is.
there.
And what
It's
Sab
absolutely
heard,
not, is what I'm saying.
what
Because they don't
Sab heard
understand
said
it.
here. Look at this. Look at this. No one knows a person's mindset unless a person showed them. Life experience shows where a person's mind is. So even the ability to be in position to get put in position is a mindset.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. But I'm talking about the frequencies and the vibration stuff.
Listen,
not the knowledge of.
They may not be saying that I'm putting out a frequency when I say this, but when they say this or when they speak this, when they do this, when they read this, they are creating.
But they are retarded of the knowledge that you're talking about. Is what I'm saying. They have never been educated in the knowledge of frequencies and vibrations. They have the mass, and they are built
the wordplay or the definition. I get it.
I'm just saying,
I get it.
They're there by way of education and network. That's why people spend millions of dollars to get their kids at JP Morgan. I just did a 2-day boot camp with Morgan Stanley. I'm telling you,
Pierre, give me a minute.
League schools. Understand? That's why you had this whole scandal where people are spending all this money to get their kids in a particular network to get them in position. These people are not all geniuses.
Yeah,
the smartest people. Listen, the smartest people are the poorest people as far as book smarts. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he said the same thing. His poor dad was the PhD professor. His rich dad, high school dropout, right? And so,
application.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right.
Yeah, see, here's the piece that's missing here, and this is what I don't want to get confused in what everyone's listening to. You're talking mindset, and just because they're not using the technical word frequency, you don't know where frequency matters. My point here is to address people who don't know nothing about mindset, to teach them how they can get out of their condition. That's not for those who are already born in that condition and they're already extracting wealth unknowingly just because they don't know the science behind it and they ain't discussing the science. Doesn't make that mean that what I'm talking about is useless. That's the point I'm making, and I'm not going to let you do that and make it sound like that because you keep bringing up the billionaires. I could care less about them. I'm talking because you're still talking mindset, and no, you don't know what they're thinking about. No, you don't know the books they read.
Yes, I do. I'm in the meetings with them.
You don't know
you don't go to bed with them.
You don't know their parents. You don't know their parents and how their parents raised them and taught them. They don't have to use the word frequency.
No, all they got to use is the thing.
All they got to use, right? All they got to use is the ability.
I'm not in that business.
All they got to use is set up the ability for them to win. And that is a vibration frequency itself. They don't have to mention the word frequency.
I'm not negating you that. I'm not saying it don't exist. I'm saying that they're retardation of the knowledge.
That's fine. But my job is to talk to the percentage of the people that don't know of how to use their frequency and vibration in the creative mind to get the wealth they want to satisfy their life. I'm not going to sit and tell you you're going to get the wealth they got. No, I'm telling you the ability to get the wealth you want to make your life comfortable. And through your mindset. That's all we're talking about here is mindset. So I have a different way of teaching, of telling people how their mindset can work to get them out of the condition. I'm not talking to wealthy people. They're already out of the condition of poverty. They're already out of the condition of need and want and lack. They're out of that. I'm speaking to the ones in the condition that needs to know how do they extract wealth. And I'm telling you now, it's based on your ability to use your imagination. And what's stopping you from using your imagination is this television shit that the billionaires up their gap that's controlling the frequency, that's keeping you distracted, that's keeping you from understanding your ability. That's my job. I don't give a fuck about the billionaires that you're working with. I'm talking to the people that's not working in that kind of field and how you can get that kind of money. I didn't meet them kind of people in prison either, but I became something based upon what I thought of myself. The fuck them. And I didn't compare myself with nobody. I didn't compare myself with the 1%. All I want to do is be able to extract from what I can from this material world to be able to eat, clothe myself, and be happy and leave enough for my grandbabies and great grandbabies. That's all I want. I ain't trying to be the billionaires, right? So that's what I'm teaching here. I'm talking to the people that the billionaires are not on this show. I'm talking to the ones that are on this show that are struggling financially and can't figure figure out a way out of this shit. So I'm telling you, stop going to them stupid ass movies that ain't gonna teach you shit at the end of the day. Start asking the question, I just spent an hour of doing something. Did it benefit you? Start asking these questions of thought pattern in your brain. Ask yourself, where is that thought benefiting you? If it's not, then stop thinking it. You have to start asking yourself these questions if you want to improve your life that you have now. That's what I'm teaching. And we don't want to try to throw dirt on that. Again, we don't want to pass over it. We want to dig more into it so we can understand, as the listeners listening, understanding how can they create and be imaginative to where they can make their lives better. That's the whole thing about the tipping point. Where's your tipping point in life that make you say, you know what, I had enough. I want to do something different. Everyone has a tipping point. You're tired of being broke. You're tired of living from check to check, right? Those are frequency. If you think you're worried about your bills, guess what? Your bill is going to be next month. It's all about what you're thinking in frequency. We got to change our mindset. This is why my main teaching is wealth ain't based upon your money or the things you attract. Wealth is based upon your mindset. And let me tell you this two-piece right here. I can tell you this. This material world that you see is actually an illusion. You know why? Because this is secondary. Primary was in the brain. Reality is in the brain. What it produced is secondary. This is the byproduct of the thought. The thought is the original. This is secondary. So you shouldn't place your value in secondary shit. You should place your value on the primary, yourself, inside your brain. That's the ability to attract wealth.
Yet you have the secondary byproduct. Because it improves your quality of life.
Right, but it came from the primary brain. This is why this is the illusion and this isn't.
But you use it.
Right? Exactly.
Okay, he's not saying it's a problem. He's just
I ain't saying it's a problem.
This is
it all came from this back here.
Byproduct.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. But that's listen, I agree with most of what you're saying, John, because again, I think you're dealing with the mindset of people, which is I think it's the most important. It's the seed, the mindset. We plant those seeds. And again, today's topic is about Wakanda Forever. The movie itself, what kind of seeds does it plant? And I think, Joe, you was talking about earlier, like pretty much understanding that this is entertainment, right? So that's one thing people got to identify for what it is. It's entertainment at the end of the day, right? So yes, it's entertainment. This is not your school, people. This is entertainment. So it serves its purpose, which is for entertainment. I know John is going to tell you don't go see it at all, right? But me, I'm just like, I don't tell people and dictate what people should do and how they should do things, because from experience, working with people at the top, I can tell you how they got there ain't the way I thought it was. These people are not so dogmatic and just that and the third. They live lives and they entertainment and all this other stuff, and they are thriving in money, blah blah blah. So it's more than one way to skin a cat. That's all I'm gonna say. So I don't dictate how you should do it, but what value can you extract from the movie? And if that value is an idea, because again, back to John Yah's principle here about the idea, which I agree, that's again having a movie that's positive in that way. Can it spark ideas in other young black kids or young black people, period, to believe that they can? Because again, you're not going to act if you don't believe. That's the key ingredient to acting, is that one must believe that his actions can bring about the satisfaction or remove the dissatisfaction. Absolutely. So if the movie can plant a seed in a positive way, then I think that that's a good thing. I told you, I like how it showed like black people working together. There's a lot of African spiritualism that's in there. So it's a lot of positive things that's in there. There were things that I really didn't like. But again, I'm not going to spoil the movie for anybody. And I mentioned those earlier in the podcast. But get the value from it and then turn it into action to produce something.
Absolutely. I'm going to go see it today. And I'm probably going to show up in full African garb. You know what I mean?
I got to get your review on it. Give me your review, because I've seen it after you check it out.
Reality, I love, Wakanda Forever is one of, or the first Black Panther. It's one of my favorite, movies, because I love certain symbolism in there, along with Avatar. It has similar symbolism in there. I love when the underdog wins anyway, when it comes to just about anything. But nonetheless, I think we've come to a point, and I hear a lot of agreement here in in our talk to where ultimately, hey, it starts in the mind. All right. Yes, we know that there is a lot of stupid people that have created a lot of great things in life, but even those stupid people, they had a mindset at some point, even to be put in position to bring forth whatever that great thing is, right?
Joe, can you sell a fart for millions of dollars?
Hey,
They got chicks bottling up farts and selling
I believe
them.
it's possible.
They're making millions of dollars.
Go look at the store Spencer's. Spencer's, that store is full of a lot of goofy shit. You know what I mean? And things like that are things that are sold in Spencer's. So yes, you could sell a fart for $1 million. Absolutely. You put it you fart in a jar, you put a top on it, put a label on it, and there's people out there that will buy it and then share it with other people as a joke.
Then life isn't all about money, and people sell their souls.
Exactly, and that's not what we're talking about. About money, wealth. There are people that are in third world countries that have all their family around them, all their needs are met: food, shelter, clothing. They smile, they laugh more than people that are wealthy as hell, than families that are wealthy as hell. And guess what? They themselves are wealthy in the midst of that, right? They may not have the dollars, but they have the wealth in abundance around them, more so than those people that have the dollars. So again, we're talking wealth, mindset. It's all good. Hey, brothers, we have brought forth a fantastic conversation, and I wanted to say something. Somebody said something about there being something about anger or something like that. Here it is. The anger needs to be put aside here. What's being said without pre-opinion. Understand something. There's no anger among the three of us at all. We literally do this. And we bring forth our own opinions, and that is the point, to be real, bring forth our opinions. But guess what?
In a spark conversation,
we're gonna chop it up on the phone and through text thread and all this stuff, because we absolutely, I believe, love each other as brothers and love what we all bring to the table. And that's what's dope about the Tipping Point Show. And it was John and I's mindset that allowed us to meet Pierre and bring forth him and grab him into this fold. So we put a tight hug around
magnetism and the vibrations like attracted
absolutely
me from Charlotte all the way to Kentucky,
absolutely. Yes. That's what happened. So hey, until next week, folks, remember, it is the Tipping Point Morning Show. Oh, you know what? And I'm gonna say this: if you go into Facebook, right, and you look up hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show, just type it in Facebook search. There's only one person that I've seen that hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show, and that is Crypto Kenny, who in the bitcoincampus.org, he made a post that said, check out the crypto wrap up on hashtag the Tipping Point Morning Show. And he did it after he was on. So with that in mind, he's the only one who's hashtagged that. But I will say this, Miss Nola Darling that was on here, she tagged several people who are still here listening to the show. So
she's the winner.
I feel like she is the winner of that spice rap.
How many did she tag in?
Oh, she tagged like 3 or 4 people.
Is that the most?
Through the thread.
Is that the most?
She tagged in Frank Nato. She tagged in a few people that have been here commenting. So I think she's the winner.
You got the prize for her?
I got it. Here's your prize. If that's the winner, she the winner. Then I
think she's the winner.
Right. All she needs to do who?
Nola Darling.
Oh, yeah. I'm friends with her on Facebook. Okay, cool.
Yep.
What you do is inbox me your address, and I am shipping it. In fact, she's a chef, I believe.
She is. Yeah,
she's gonna enjoy this.
That's right.
Yeah, she's good people.
Well, this is yours.
Yep. That's what's up. Hey, folks, next week, same place, same time. Remember, It is the Tipping Point Morning Show. And I didn't say this earlier, but just keep in mind that today is November 12th, 2022. It's the only November 12th, 2022 that you will ever get in your life. So guess what? Make today one of the most amazing days that you can ever make it. All right?
Absolutely.
Until next week.
All right. Love you, brothers. Peace.
All right. Appreciate it. Love you, bro.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeh. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.